Wolf. Today is the night we are coming in to do our hot takes on a specific movie that came out last week, I suppose. That's right, everybody. Tonight we're yelling about Dune Part Deux. The sequel, the long-awaited sequel that everybody's been hoping to break Hollywood, which it did, strangely enough. It has also been history in the making that, as we always said before, that Dune, the book itself, was quite unfilmable. But here we are now with another entry from two parts for one book, mind you, for one book. And once again, we have to wait for another year for it to release. And oh boy, usually when that happens, we usually dread. Because that gives, granted, on the positive side, it gives time for the filmmakers to clean up some things. On the other hand, it gives us some time to make some adjustments. And usually when they do the adjustments, that don't spell good. But I'm here, folks, with our special guest, the Mead Valkyrie, the one of the best stay-at-home mothers who brew you the finest of meads.
Hi everyone, it's Ginell, mead making mama, walking X-Men dictionary for the Claremont era, and I'm here to bitch about Dune Part 2 because I'm a purist.
Along with me. Even though I like the movie. Well, to summarize my enjoyment of the movie, since I've seen it and I'm still coming off a jet lag from it, it's a love-hate relationship. It's a love-hate situation.
I'm going to say the visuals for the Dune movie are beautiful. It's everything else.
Before we get
For
into
me.
that, we're gonna get into your thoughts on the first part, because Jesus Christ. My biggest mistake for the years before when we did the Dune discussion was not having you on here to voice your like the time when we got together, when Ishii got us together to talk about the first part. I had zero shit to counter with because I was in agreement with both of y'all. And that it's funny that disappointed Ishii, but I digress. But yeah, we're gonna be. That's why it's titled "Yelling About It" because I have my problems with it too, and I'm pretty sure my problems matches the same. But let me not dally along and introduce the accomplices of tonight's show, starting with the humblest of writers, Humble Marty.
Hi, I'm Humble Marty. I write stuff, and I'm barely working my way through the books.
Someone say wants to race up. Wouldn't you agree?
It's something.
But also take it this is your second time being with the Mead guys, right?
No, she's been with me a couple of times, I thought.
Yeah, I think so. I haven't kept count, actually. I haven't kept count.
Well, I'm a numbers man, so I keep
She was here for Akira.
Yes,
that definitely.
So you met each other multiple times, so there ain't no 3 times. Well, you get to hear a bitch tonight. I mean, you've already heard a bitch enough over the Gen X's stream and the Claremont streams, but tonight you get to hear a bitch. It's going to be amazing. So here's our pioneer who also don't really give a shit about both the movies and the books. You have the lovely Leia Valley plus size. The lovely Leia. Do I have to poke you with a stick?
Oh no, where'd she go?
Leia. Let's see. Even almost trying to soft communicate. Oh, she's gone. She
Uh-oh.
disappeared, guys. She'll be back. But since he grown in a little bit, we got the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell.
Good evening, everybody. This is the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell, Wolf Second in Command, and the resident practical optimist and idealist, as well as the straight man of this organized, chaotic bunch. And tonight, I'm looking forward to having a discussion on Dune.
Let's go over the history so far. So
I'm sorry, that just makes me laugh what Romando said. My inner elementary school kid is coming out.
Well, the spice melange is one heck of a drug.
Yeah. Oh God, I won't lie. If that stuff was available while I was doing my experimental phase at SDSU, I would have been all over that shit.
she has made her return in about soon as her connection fixes. Shit, I'm sucking at these damn introductions. Let's give her a minute to get her connection, her device connected. And there she is. She has made her return like the Phoenix Force. The pioneer of this shindig. The unlover of the books and the movies. Who is here to listen to us passionately bitch about this movie. Leia Plus Size, the lovely Leia Valor.
Good evening, everyone. This is. Can you hear me?
Yes,
We can hear you.
I
loud
can.
and clear.
Oh, okay. Because I dropped out for a minute there. I don't know what happened, but I'm back in. Yes, as Wolf mentioned, I do not share the passion of Dune as the rest of my fellow members here. So I am going to listen in on their conversations, and I know this is going to be good because you know that we've got Ginell here. So this is going to be a good topic. But I'm here to listen, and if there are any questions or comments I have, I will gladly ask them. But I'm going to turn it over to them, and I'm absolutely sure for those of you listening, you're going to get a very good Dune discussion.
Before we begin, we'll have Ginell speak about her experience with the first part of the movie. Well, the first movie. So go
Okay.
ahead.
Where do I begin? Okay, I will say first off, the majority of the casting for this film is very well done. I am not going to knock that. My biggest gripe was casting Zendaya as Chani.
I agree.
Like Zendaya
I concur.
can't act. She literally is the same monotonous, sarcastic character in every film I've seen her in. And I've actually sat and watched Euphoria because everybody was saying Euphoria is like the best show ever. So I sat and watched
People are
that
there for
trash.
Sydney Sweeney.
The only reason I still watch is because of Sydney Sweeney, because she's the only one putting, well, I will say Jacob Elordi is really good as playing psychopath too. I just like the teen drug drama is like, oh wow, great, whatever. But I understand why they cast her, because the way she acts, she just seems like a stoned drug addict the whole
She's so
time.
morose.
Yeah. She cannot act. I knew when they cast her in Spider-Man, they were going to make her MJ, and they did. And the character sucks. I'm sorry. I do not like Miss Melissa Jones, and I'm not going to give her when they called her Watson. Oh my God, no. But that's another bitch for another time. Zendaya is not Chani. That she can't do it. And I know why they cast her. I'm sure that was a studio decision because she had a big name backing her up. Disney Marvel. She's famous now. She had Euphoria under her belt. So yeah, okay.
The first one with a show called Euphoria, when it's all about the sexy time and the drug time, and I'm like, I really do not want to see this bitch in a sex scene. I'm glad. More on this later, but I'm glad they cut the money shot of her and Timothy Chalamet, getting it on.
They must have
Oh,
been
they
good.
actually filmed a sex scene for
Not really. We'll get to that soon.
Okay, because I have not
Continue.
seen the second film. I'm waiting for it to come on HBO Max. I am not paying an arm and a leg to go sit in the theater and stew in my own anger and being like, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. I can do that at home with my own popcorn and my own home brew and having my husband laugh his ass off
You're
because
already doing that in the first part.
he loves watching me get pissed at movies. I mean, it is entertainment for the man. So, yeah,
Oh,
I
wow.
will. I refuse to see it in the theater. I will wait till it's out on HBO. And I've lost. Okay, so everybody else was great. I was really stoked about Josh Brolin. I was stoked about Oscar Isaac. I know a lot of people were really upset, but I felt he nailed the character, especially because I've read the books a shit ton. Not the Brian Herbert, Kevin J. Anderson ones; those are crap. But the
Mhm.
original 6. Jason Momoa was the perfect pick for Duncan, Idaho. And I know that is a very, that is not an opinion, but, or I should say an opinion that people have. But Duncan, Idaho is the swashbuckling ladies' man. You know, he reminds me of an old privateer when you read the books. And I got to say, in the first movie, I will say Duncan, Idaho went out hard, perfectly,
Mhm.
just like the books. He went out hard. And people who have not read the books, spoiler alert, sorry, big spoiler alert for people who haven't read the books, Duncan, Idaho comes back as a Gola, which is a clone from a dead body. They have a difference. You have a clone from, if it's a live body, it's just a clone. But if you gather a cluster of cells from a corpse and you remake the body, that's called a Gola.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm glad they cast him because he's going to be able to carry it in Dune Messiah. I cannot pronounce Villeneuve. Is that how you say it? Villeneuve?
Villeneuve.
Denis Villeneuve?
Yeah.
Denis Villeneuve.
Okay. Okay. Denis Villeneuve did do well casting him as Duncan, Idaho. And people need to get over the fact that he's been typecast as dude bros. I'm talking about Momoa. Because I
Mhm.
still remember him from Game of Thrones, and he wasn't a dude bro. He was a fucking warrior. And he was
Yeah.
great as Khal Drogo.
Well,
Uh,
well, for me, I remembered him from Stargate Atlantis.
I
I
loved
just
him as Ronin.
don't like what he did with Aquaman in the second movie.
Well,
I
well,
did
look,
not see the
he was
second one.
the wrong choice to play Arthur.
Period. But I was sold for a while in the first movie, but the second movie, oh boy, I don't know what. Well,
Look,
Wait,
we'll save the talk for DC Comics later. All right.
exactly.
well, wait, I want to jump on this for just a second and then we'll go back to Dune. He was a good cast for Arthur. You guys heard that they did so many reshoots that when they did the first premiere, Momoa hadn't seen it yet and he walked out. He was pissed for the second movie for
Mhm.
Aquaman. Yeah, no, he was not happy.
That's
So
fine.
I don't blame
That's what I
Aquaman
heard through the
2 on him.
grapevine.
We're hearing a lot from actors really being very passionate about the movies that they make this time around. A few, a few, a few of them have really come out and said the movie is terrible. Like recently, Dakota Johnson, which earns a bit of favor from me because I barely like that bitch. Excuse me.
So
She ain't no
you
bitch
do or
no
you
more.
don't like her?
I don't really. Well, to say I don't like her as a person or as an actress is wrong. It's just that her pedigree is the 50 Shades movies. That's that's her crowning jewel so far. You know, if you ever ask what has she done in order to land this type of stuff, think about what her pedigree is, which is the 50 Shades movies, and we all know how those turn out so far.
They should have just cast Helen Mirren as Madam Web. That's a nut. We could bitch about the Sony films. Like the only thing they've gotten right is Spider-Man and Venom. Everything else has been a bomb. But okay, back to Dune.
I think Final Fantasy fan will disagree with you there, but whatever. He ain't here tonight.
Oh,
Guys,
why isn't
hey,
he here?
He's
focus.
busy.
All right. Okay,
But
so the
part one.
casting was good. I didn't like Zendaya. I was okay with Rebecca Ferguson until she opened her mouth and said she didn't like that Frank Herbert, the way that Frank Herbert wrote Jessica. So she had Villeneuve rewrite the character to be Duke Leto's bodyguard. I bitched about this on Issue So I'm going to do a bit of a recap. The Bene Gesserit, I do not understand why feminists think that Frank Herbert was like misogynist and wrote for the time frame. The Bene Gesserit controlled every single royal and noble bloodline in the known universe. You could not breed without them saying yes or no. Not only that, every emperor, every duke, every baron, especially of significance, you couldn't marry anyone. You married a Bene Gesserit. Or if you did marry someone that wasn't a Bene Gesserit, you immediately got a concubine and you bred with her first. That's how they. Not only that, these women can control their entire body chemistry down to the molecule. They can carry diseases. This is going to be a little disgusting. They can also carry sperm packets, meaning that they can save the sperm from the men that they have seduced and bred with to then choose to and fertilize themselves later. They also can control their ovulation at will. These women know that they control the bloodlines of the known universe. Not only that, they're the greatest martial artists in the universe. They have such command over their body. They have a specialized martial art that they move like the Flash. So do not tell me that the movie or the books were not good to females, because the Bene Gesserit,
These bitches embody
Look.
the words "girl power."
well, it's not. It's just not that. They've got psychic powers too. They can tap into their other memory. Every single person they are genetically related to, they can talk to them in the past. That is insane. How can you say the only other warriors that might be on par with the Bene Gesserit, but I'm going to put my money on the Bene Gesserit in the end, are the Sardaukar. And the only reason they're that crazy is because they're bred to be fanatics. And they train on a planet that is so ecologically devastated from a massive nuclear war. They can handle any environment. I mean, the Death Worlds and Warhammer 40K and the Catachan, what are they called? Imperial Guard, the Catachan warriors are okay. Well, everybody knows Warhammer 40K is ripped off from Dune. That's where the Catachan came from, the Sardaukar.
Well, I would also like to add, despite the Bene Gesserit's incredible feats, one thing to keep in mind is they are not good people at all.
Really, no one at the higher echelons is, because the guild aren't good either, and neither is Chom. Those are the guys that actually rule the universe. Chom, the Bene Gesserit, and the guild rule. And the Emperor is really a puppet. He truly is. I mean, you read the books, you're like, dude, this guy is just the mouthpiece. Because in Dune, when they have the secret meeting, when the guild has the secret meeting with Shaddam, and they're like, yeah, kill Paul Atreides. He's like, okay, cool. If he actually had power, he could have said, no, I'm doing my own thing. But they're like, no, we want Paul Atreides killed. All right, cool. I'll do that. I'm sending my Sardaukar to kill his dad anyway, so I'll take care of him too. And here's the other thing. When Shaddam became emperor, and they try to expand upon it in the friggin' books that come later, and it's crap. But even before the first 6 books, his wife Anna Rule was Bene Gesserit. No, you're taking a Bene Gesserit as your wife. And then to really screw him over, because this is a thing I know that feminists were upset about with those books. It's gone back to a feudal society. But women are not oppressed, okay? But they've gone back to a feudal society. Technology has gotten so insane, they don't use guns anymore. They use shields and swords. Because the technology is so nuts, you got to go back to using the simple stuff. I digress. The Bene Gesserit ordered Anna Rule to only have daughters, so the Carino line would end. They were done with Shaddam. So yeah, I mean, tell me that these women didn't control the universe.
What other
Now,
what other change you didn't like in part one?
Okay, so Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson. One thing I felt that Villeneuve did not capture is how expansive the known universe is. With the limited technology that they had in 1984 and even in 2000 when they did the miniseries, at least the universe, you could feel that it was an expansive universe.
It was.
I
It still
felt
was.
like in Villeneuve's, he only focused on Arrakis. And
Yeah,
you read the books, there's 3 other planets involved. You have Caladan, which obviously they end up on Arrakis. You have Gidi Prime, and you have Titan, which is the capital planet. And even David Lynch and I can't remember who did the miniseries, but at the beginning of both the miniseries and the very first scene in David Lynch's Dune, you're on Titan. Now the book starts actually on Gidi Prime, with the Baron waxing poetic about how much he hates the Atreides, and the way Herbert wrote it was, the fat bejeweled hand of the Baron had his hand on the model globe of Arrakis, kind of showing you already that, that's the Baron considers that his property. Arrakis is his. It shouldn't go to the Duke, but, that he already is talking about how he's, the Emperor's working through him to destroy the Atreides, and, he's going to get back Arrakis, and the book moves from there. But I did not feel it was expansive. I really only felt that this universe revolved around Arrakis. Now, that might be a
Self-contained, if you will.
stylistic choice, because yes, the universe really does revolve around Arrakis for spice. But man, like, at least Lynch and in the 2000 miniseries, they really made it a point for you to see the other planets. Like, I was so stoked they were going to show Seleucus Secundus, and they spent 2 minutes on Seleucus Secundus. I was like, yo, you needed to spend more than 2 minutes on Seleucus Secundus, because that planet is that shit. That was so cool when they were doing the voices.
That's throat chanting.
That chanting was badass.
Mongol throat chanting that he used for the Sadakar chant for when they were going to war.
I mean,
Beautiful.
Think about that scene. They had sacrificed a bunch of people so they could be anointed in blood while the rain is pouring down. Like the moment I saw the rain, if you've read the book, you're like, oh shit, this is the legendary, horrifying weather that is on Seleucus Secundus.
Mm-hmm.
And just, the same thing also goes for Gidi Prime. Even in Lynch's, there's not a lot of time spent on Gidi Prime in Lynch's, but what you see of Gidi Prime, it truly looks like an industrial hellhole. When I saw Gidi Prime in his movie, I'm like, it looks like Los Angeles in the future, but not as cool. Like, he was trying to do some Blade Runner shit.
It's more like H.R. Giger's paintings. Kind of like a
Lynch's?
No. Villeneuve's version of Gidi Prime.
They did add. I'm glad they left the H.R. Giger stuff in, because H.R. Giger, if you've ever looked up what H.R. Giger was doing for, and I can never pronounce this man's name, forgives me, is it Jodorowsky?
Jodorowsky.
Okay. He's the one that hired. I'm sure everybody's already heard the story. The reason the movie Alien kicked ass is because when Mr. J. I'm just going to call him Mr. J. Don't think of Joker, please, but I can't pronounce the dude's name.
Must resist.
Please don't.
Come on, Wolf.
The reason Alien did so well is because all of the guys that were working on Dune when the movie, they decided, not to go with the vision of Mr. J. They all went with Ridley Scott and filmed Alien. And here's another tidbit, if you guys didn't know, Ridley Scott was actually he was picked to film Dune next, and it was in between Alien and Blade Runner, and he chose to focus on Blade Runner. We could have gotten a crazy Ridley Scott Dune. That would have been
I'm
nuts.
glad we didn't.
I'm glad we didn't, but at the same time,
my Ridley Scott hater boner bias. I'm glad we didn't.
Jodorowsky. Jodorowsky? Is that how I
Yep.
say it? Okay,
Yeah,
so the
Jodorowsky.
J isn't silent.
Exactly.
Okay, Jodorowsky. Thank you, guys. I always want to call him Yordowski. Jodorowsky. I really actually would have loved to seen his movie too. And I will say Villeneuve did take a lot of cues from him, which I appreciate, because when Austin Butler was cast, he told Austin Butler to imagine that he was Mick Jagger on crack and insane. And well, who was the original Fade Rautha before Sting? Mick Jagger was the original Fade Rautha. Oh yeah. Jodorowsky's
more on Fade later. Trust me.
Oh my God. Okay,
I got a lot of dick wangling from him.
Okay, I will just go real quick. Lynch casting perfectly, because that's how Fade Rautha looked in my mind. Like, he's very handsome, he's very charismatic. He's also a psychopath, but he can keep it under control, and he uses his performance in the gladiator pits. Austin Butler is a very handsome young man, and they made him look deformed. He looked like a deformed toddler from the movie Prometheus. Why? Oh my God, you still could have shaved his head and he would have looked fine. He did look fine with the shaved head. But what the fuck, dude? I mean, Fade Rautha is supposed to make a girl's panties go sploosh. That
it is now.
Man, that makeup did not make girls' panties go sploosh. Okay.
I've heard different.
Keep it clean, Ginell.
I've heard. Hey. Don't. No. You ain't dead mother tonight. Take a break.
Ew. Really?
Oh, I heard different.
Gross.
I heard different. Girls are
God.
falling over Austin, but mostly is because of his portrayal of Elvis. Mostly. Not
well, no, I'm not talking. He looked great in Elvis. He was very handsome in Elvis. I didn't see the whole movie, but very good pick. He looked like Elvis Presley. It was great. What they did to him is Fade Rautha, though. I mean, you cast a guy that is very handsome and has, can look like Elvis, and you mutilate him with makeup. Like, why?
Did you even like Dave Bautista as
Glassoo? Like, as the character, yeah, the makeup didn't really do him justice because it doesn't match how he's described in the books.
Oh yeah, no. Fade Rautha is gorgeous in the books.
Yeah, they make him very alien in the movie. But what about Bautista as Glassoo or Beast Rabon?
I loved Bautista as Rabon. He had the stocky build and everything. I mean, Paul Smith was good too. And I can never remember most of the actors were from Eastern Europe that were in the miniseries. So I cannot pronounce their names, and I feel horrible for not being able to do so. I actually liked Rabon, Dave Bautista as Rabon. Like I said, the majority of the casting was fantastic. You couldn't have done a better job. I mean, I am going to say I thought Lynch's casting for the first movie was so good, except he gave the wrong direction to Kenneth McMillan as the Baron. The Baron is Machiavellian, he's charismatic, he's calm, he's cool, and he is highly intelligent.
Oh, yeah.
He told Kenneth McMillan to play him as a diseased psycho.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucked for Kenneth McMillan because he got a bunch of shit for that. And that wasn't on him. It was Lynch that made him have, like, in the book, you know that the Baron is disease riddled because he's a hedonist. So, you know, how many slave boys has he had his way with? But they decided to put the disease on the outside. And it was like the only thing that was grotesque and disgusting about the Baron was he was obese. But he still had a total regal air about him. And I am going to say the best Baron really was Ian McNeice
I
from the
agree.
miniseries in 2000.
Yeah.
He was that scene where Rabon is acting like a moron and is spouting off, and the Baron just goes up and slaps him across the face like, bitch, shut up. That is one of the that was like, dude, you captured Vladimir so well. So don't get me wrong, Stellan Skarsgård, fantastic actor, but I am going to say Ian McNeice, much better.
Yeah.
But you know, for obviously Ian McNeice is like in his 70s now, so you're going to need somebody younger. And Stellan Skarsgård, I know we're still talking about the first movie, but I want it to be able so we can get into the second movie. One of my favorite things that they did that they didn't really go into in the book, but I thought was brilliant, when he has Leto and he's, you know, pontificating to him and he leans over to him and he stops and he looks around and he hits his shield. I was like, yep, that's exactly what the Baron Harkonnen would do. He is too damn smart for his own good. And he was right, because then Leto unleashed the poison gas. Everybody in the room died but him because he had a shield on. That was a brilliant, like, oh my God, that movie. I should love that movie. I really should love the 2001 movie, and I can't.
Well, it turns out you have a love hate relationship with part one, because there's some things that you like about it, and there's some things you don't like about it, which is fine, because that's the same thing with me.
Yeah, honestly, I would have liked it if Rebecca Ferguson and Chani had not been in, or Rebecca Ferguson and Zendaya had not been in the film. If they had cast two different actresses, also, I did not like what they did to Liette Kynes. And I remember Ishi went on a rant on this, and I fully agree. The reason Paul and Chani first bond, they both lost their fathers to the Harkonnens in horrible fashion.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't they lost a parent. Also, I'm sorry. Okay, if you want to gender swap Liette Kynes, fine. I'm not going to be okay with it. I don't think there needs to be gender swapping. I'm going to say I don't care about people's ethnicity in this movie, because in Dune, not everybody's white. Okay, like
Mm-hmm.
it made perfect sense that Toofer Hawat was black. It would have made perfect sense if Liette Kynes was black. You know, I mean, Javier Bardem is from Spain, so he's Mediterranean. I mean, yeah, I wasn't expecting everybody to be white. No problem with different ethnicities. I thought that was brilliant. I
Well,
wasn't down with the gender swapping, and I was not down with the fact that she was some freedom force leader. She was the leader of Sietch Tabir, or he was the leader of Sietch Tabir, but Liette Kynes is supposed to die in a humiliating fashion, just like Duke Leto. That was the whole point. Their
mm-hmm.
fathers had been tortured and humiliated and murdered. I mean, they left Liette Kynes out in the desert without his still suit to either die of dehydration or be killed by a worm. And he goes insane and then gets swallowed by a worm. Duke Leto has one of his closest advisors assassinate or betray the house, rip out one of his teeth and say, yeah, poison the Baron for me. And the Baron gloats over him. How humiliating can you get? And I thought it was a great touch in the first part of the movie that not only had he been captured, they stripped him naked. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like at the point, like total vulnerability. How humiliating is that?
You can add in
Very.
you can add in you can also add in the caveat of they stripped him down just to make sure he had no weapons on hand. That, like, say for instance, he's not moving, but what if he can move and he has
Yeah,
weapons on him?
they just
So,
didn't check the teeth. You think about it in hindsight and you're like, dude, you should have checked the teeth.
mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I should love that movie. I will say, out of all the Dune movies that have been made, Dune 1984 will always be the best soundtrack. Toto rocked that. I don't care what anybody says. That is one of the most killer soundtracks ever made. Toto was so good. And
I concur.
I know that Villeneuve did try to put some of that into his soundtrack, and I did appreciate that. But I really I'm like, yeah, you can't beat that. So, you talk to anybody, and they're like, even if they hated Lynch's Dune, across the board, you get that is the best soundtrack I've ever seen for a Dune movie.
Hans
And it
Zimmer
is.
is losing his appeal the more he's starting to get used by a lot of directors. I would say the only soundtrack he's done that actually really would want the whole complete soundtrack was Dunkirk. You
I
know,
haven't seen Dunkirk yet, and I want to so bad.
Dunkirk is really good, but like
I know that I have to steel myself for that. I'm probably gonna need a bottle of whiskey. I get very emotional at World War II movies, since both my grandfathers fought in it. So yeah, it hits a little home.
Though I do have a soft spot for the Dune soundtrack, I can agree with a lot of people who don't really like it that much. It is very ear grating at times, especially with the one woman whale trope.
The what trope?
It's a trope called the one woman whale.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
I understand that too, and there are times where the bass just gets so high that you almost feel like your ears are gonna split open. So I get that. And there were times I had to turn whenever time I will pop in Dune Part 1, there were times I had to turn down my volume because of how loud some of the music was, especially when they leave Caladan.
Yeah.
It's a good soundtrack, but he dialed it back. Apparently they dialed it back in the second movie, which was a surprise to me on that one, that they dialed that back. So they're you can kind of say that Denis do listen to criticism, and he takes it pretty well.
Indeed, he does.
I'm really surprised though that we're going to go into the second part now. Like I said, people can call me a hypocrite because I haven't seen the movie yet, but you know what? There's this thing called Wikipedia, and there's this thing called Reddit that gives you a whole bunch of spoilers. So yeah, I did a deep dive, and Steve told me I was driving myself insane.
And I'll have to carry most of it because I've seen it from beginning to end.
All right, so here we go.
Well, so we have let me give you the rundown of the cast so far. So we have Florence Pugh as Lady Irulan. We have.
Okay, see, that was when I heard she was cast. I was like, the movie's gonna be shit. She's another raging feminist.
And you broke my heart when you said that.
Oh, you didn't know that? I'm sorry.
I didn't know that either.
When you shared that with Ishii on that I think it was the last, not the last one, but the one before the last X-Men stream, before Dune released, before I went to go before I went to go see it, and when you mentioned that, I was like, oh.
I was just as heartbroken because I loved her since Midsommar, and I was actually stoked when she was cast as Yelena Belova for Black Widow. I was like, oh hell yeah, I love this chick.
She did a better job holding her accent than Scarlett Johansson. But the thing is, I kept my eye on her since Fighting with My Family, and I still need to watch that movie from beginning to end. I only saw the final fight.
Oh, for Black Widow?
No, not Black Widow. Fighting with My Family, the movie about the wrestler Diva P.
Oh my god, is that the one with Lena Headey and Nick Frost as her parents?
Yes.
The chick that was Paige in the WWE.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've been dying to see that film. I want to see it so bad.
I'm starting to see a resurgence of wrestling movies.
Good.
I need to watch the Iron Claw, but I digress. So yeah, when you told me that she was a raging feminist, I was like, oh no, I hope she'd be quiet about it because I don't want to look at her disgustingly.
She did that movie with Olivia Wilde where it turns out that husbands that were jealous of their successful wives put them into like a VR
Oh, don't
coma.
worry, darling. Oh, she was in that movie.
Yeah,
Is
she
that where
was.
she made her final transformation?
I think so
Oh
because
no.
that's also when I found out that Chris Pine is a feminist ally, and I was like, why? Why? I liked him
Uh,
too.
but we also have Lea Sado as Lady Fenry, which
That okay.
unfortunately she was only in that movie for at least about 2 scenes.
Okay,
That's
I'm
what I
gonna
heard.
say I am very happy somebody finally put Margot Fenrig in the movie. She plays such a major role in the book, even though she's not on scene. She's the one that warns Jessica there's a traitor in the house because the Bene
Mhm.
Gesserit are loyal to themselves first before they're loyal to their husbands or anybody else.
The problem
She
is that they don't have that plot in the first part of the movie, so she's basically reduced to a filler character.
Which is that did bug me because I was like, why? Why didn't they have her? If you're going to follow the entire book, Margot and Hasmir need to be in the movie somewhere
I
because
believe
that's
Tim
the
Burton
Emperor's.
Nelson was going to be playing Hasme, and they cut out his part in the movie.
Did you know that was such good casting too? He looks just like he's described in the book. He actually has. Okay, I don't mean to be mean to this guy, but he's got that pointed rat face that Hasmir has in the book.
Man, this
And
man get the short end of the stick because he's supposed to be the leader in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And he gets his head blown up in Fat Force Stick. He needs to fire his agent.
oh wait, maybe
Just like
are we? Wait,
Tim
hold
Blake
on. You're talking
Nelson.
about Tim Blake Nelson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wait,
I'm
he was
speaking
in
to
the
him
Marvel
as a
Cinematic Universe?
yes, he was the leader.
Yeah, he was a leader.
The leader in the making. The Incredible
Yeah,
Hulk
Oh,
movie.
that's right. He was Mr. Blue.
Yep, Mr. Blue.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
And the blood got into his head, and his head started enlarging. They were setting him up to be the leader.
That's right, because that was such a good twist when it said Mr. Blue. I thought it was going to be Reed Richards in the movie, and it turned out to be the leader. I thought that was
Oh,
such
missed
a good twist.
opportunity. Missed opportunity.
Well, no,
But
I
yeah,
think they did that on purpose. It was supposed to be a red herring in a way. Like you're thinking you're going to finally get Reed Richards, and you're like, no, you get the leader instead. But that's still awesome. I'll take
I would
it.
have had it as Doc Samson though, if I
I
was
actually
writing Incredible Hulk. But
I actually liked
another
Ty
time for that.
Burrell as Doc Samson, and everybody's so used to Ty Burrell playing a douche or an idiot. I thought he did really well as Doc Samson in the Incredible Hulk movie.
I'm saying my problem with Tim Blake Nelson is the same thing with Admiral Krennic. What was his name? Ben Millson. Is that
Hmm.
when they're in American movies, they get the fucking shallow end of the gene pool, referencing Lion King there, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
They get the shallow end of the gene pool in parts. Like for every time every time I see Ben Millson in an American movie, that motherfucker is always playing second fiddle to a greater evil, or he's getting humiliated at the end, like he's in a Nickelodeon movie. When it comes to Tim Blake Nelson, this motherfucker, when he's in a major movie, he gets shafted a lot. Again, Incredible Hulk gets one setup, no payoff. Fat Forsyth gets his head blown up.
Well,
This
remember
movie, non-existent.
that? Okay,
Because
that pisses me off because when I found out he was cast as Hasmir, I was like, I might actually go see it, and then I found they cut him. I was like, nope, never mind. I'm still gonna stick with
there's
my
a
guns.
lot didn't he cut out.
Yeah, I heard not
Yeah.
only that he cut out, but he rewrote. Number one,
God.
I'm gonna say this right now. You do not rewrite Frank Herbert's Dune. It is, and this has been said by experts, it is the greatest science fiction story ever written.
Mhm.
Period. The man was so far ahead of his time. He got a Nebula and a Hugo, and nobody has been able to do that since. Modern day sci-fi, whether it's in movies, video games, role-playing games, or books, Dune is the source. In fact, I don't know if people know this, but when Frank Herbert and Brian Herbert went to go see Star Wars, Frank Herbert was going to sue George Lucas because he ripped so much off from Dune, including the spice mines.
I
And
was talking about that in the previous stream.
Herbert let it go. He was cool about it. Now, if Frank Herbert was still, if he hadn't died so early, I do think he would have gone after Games Workshop, because literally Warhammer 40K is Dune, but if everybody was a bad guy. And yeah, 40K fans, you can yell at me all you want about that. I'm gonna die on that hill. Sorry, not sorry.
Not,
But yeah,
not to
Ain't no fair
mention,
to attack a black man who happens to be a werewolf channel.
not to mention Herbert, or if he was still alive, like he would like protect his baby like hard. Well, he did not want anybody to pervert what he has made.
yeah, and look what his son did, because his son was a hack writer and pissed at his dad and took his good name and his beautiful story and has turned it into dime store fan fiction. And Herbert's not even writing it. It's Kevin J. Anderson. Everybody knows it's Kevin J. Anderson. I was so stoked when they announced that they had found, quote unquote, found Frank Herbert's notes and we're going to continue on the series and finish his villain I'm sorry. No, Brian Herbert is a villain. His story. I mean, I was through the roof happy. The amount of disappointment as I kept reading these books that were so-called found from his notes, and I was realizing this was not found from notes. This is all made up. Because you read Hunters of Dune, which is the 7th book. Well, now it's like the umpteenth book because there's so many books in between now that they've written. But originally it was the sequel to Chapter House Dune. Yeah, I do think they found Frank Herbert's notes because it read like a Frank Herbert book until the last 4 chapters, and then it was a Kevin J. Anderson book.
Oh,
and Steve and I were so disappointed, but we trudged on, and we read Sandworms of Dune, and I was like, this is the stupidest friggin' story I've ever read in my life.
It's a dumbass title.
Yeah, you know what they do? Because the Honored Matres had nuked Arrakis and glassed it, and so it was ruined. They were trying to figure out how to still make spice, so they mutated sandworms into sea worms and put them on ocean planets, and they would barf up lumps of pure spice.
That's stupid.
Yeah,
remember
I heard about that, like among others, and I found that to be rather stupid because that's not how it works.
That's a baby making that shit up.
Remember, the whole point about sandworms hating water was because that's how the water of life was made. You drown a sandworm, a baby, a larva, and then it would barf up. The bile would be the water of life, pure water of life, and then they would have to distill it. So why the hell are you making a sea worm? Really, because it was the Bene Gesserit that were helping with that. That means you lose your chance to use the water of life, which gives you your powers. You dumb bitches.
I mean, well, to put it bluntly, Brian is the anti Christopher Tolkien.
Yeah, he didn't protect his. I think it was Ishii that mentioned on a stream that he had heard through the grapevine that Brian Herbert actually had issues with his dad, and this was his way of getting some revenge on him.
That man gave birth to your ass.
Which blows my mind because Brian Herbert...
He shot your ass in your mama's womb and you came out of her. You owe him your life, you little ungrateful little piece of shit.
Well, here's what kills me. Frank Herbert knew he was dying when he was writing Chapter House Dune. So he wrote it with Brian so Brian could finish the series. So Brian knew what was up. And then he waited 20, 30 years and then busts out the finale. And then lets Kevin J. Anderson write, retcon everything. I mean, yeah. Oh my God. No, I'm getting off track because it's making me mad. I can't talk.
Look,
I've seen Part 2.
We can save it for a Part 2 discussion on Dune, but right now let's get back to the discussion on Part 2 movie.
Okay, so what I learned from my research really just made me. I was so sad to see young people who have never picked up the book thought this was one of the greatest movies ever, and People were asking, "Are you ever going to read the book?" And they said, "No, I don't have to. The movie was good enough."
I'm sorry,
No,
Chief, but
I'm
no,
so-
the movies are not the substitute of the books.
let me tell y'all something. After I watched part one, I went to listen to the audiobook from beginning to end. And right now, currently, the 3-book trilogy is sitting in my cart on Amazon, which come payday, I'm gonna buy just to have in my collection. Not Brian's bullshit. I'm gonna have Frank's. Okay? Fuck that noise. Fuck that noise about the movie is enough. Jurassic Park. I've seen the movie first, and I stole my school's Jurassic Park book.
Wait, a
It's
great
still,
story.
it still has the stamp from my high school, and I reconstructed it after so many pages were ripping out. The book was falling apart, mind you. So don't give me that bullshit.
Yeah,
I still,
I feel
mind
When
like
you,
when
I
Jurassic
read the Lord of the Rings books before Two Towers came out and The Return of the King. All 3 of them. I still have yet to read The Hobbit. I had the graphic novel when I checked out from the library, but you know what? Unfortunately, I gotta say this about The Hobbit, the Hobbit books. Even though I watched all the Hobbit trilogy, it's not that soul grabbing, to say at least for me. But regardless, when it comes to movies and books, I'm going to read it because of the movie. The Page Master. I've seen the animated movie, and I've seen the localized book version of it. Sorry, the novelization. Same thing we're back. Don't give me that bullshit that when the movie's enough for your ass. As a matter of fact, I'll take it even further. Cartoons. X-Men, the animated series, got me into reading X-Men comic books. Same with their respective movies. Hell, it's the reason why I watched X-Men Evolution, which we will be. Well, if you're willing, Ginell, we can talk about that.
Oh, the animated series?
We're coming. We're running up on that anyways in 2 months.
he's
I will
referring
And
tell
to
you,
X Men
I'm not watching
Evolution.
X-Men
Yes,
'97.
but let me
I
finish my rant.
refuse.
Don't give me that bullshit about the movie's enough. Fuck that noise. The movie should get you curious about the book, about any source material that it comes from. That's like saying, oh, I don't care about the Charlie's Angels show because the first 2 Charlie's Angels movies was enough. That's like saying, oh, I can't watch Baywatch because I watched the Rock's version of Baywatch. Mind you, I did like that movie. I still love the show though. Don't get me wrong. So what they're saying, these young kids are being raised on the not giving a fuck nihilism.
Yeah, unfortunately.
They're trying. Hey Mark, is how you say his name? Because my screen is fuzzy a bit for some reason.
Monkey Nuz.
What's up, Mikey Nuz? Everybody, welcome Mikey Nuz. I'm pretty sure he's new. He's on Twitch right now. What's up, Mikey or Monkey?
So if he's on Twitch, is he streaming us? Streaming?
I'm streaming on 3 platforms: YouTube, Twitch, and on Twix or Tix.
Gotcha. I thought you were going to say tits.
Why not tits? Because that's all you see is tits.
Really, Ginell?
Every time I scroll on Tix, I always see titty, ass, titties, 2 titties, 4 asses, ass, titty, 2
Keep in
titties, 4
mind,
asses,
Wolf, I
ass,
know horny
titties,
chick.
2 titties, 4 asses.
I love
Remember,
you, Wolf. I do.
I can almost hear
Wolf,
Humble
I
laugh
know
her
horny chick.
ass off in the background, but she muted. That's why I
If
was
we
laying
have a
incredible.
bunch of young Dune fans raised on nihilism, their midlife crisis is going to be quite interesting.
That's
Well,
right.
it's more like an early midlife crisis because they haven't really experienced life at its fullest yet.
Oh, that's true. the thing that I remember from, yeah, in fact, you're never too young or too old to have a midlife crisis. You could have like 2 of them.
What
And
I'm
one of
trying
them
to
would
say
end up being on
is,
a positive kick and probably going on a book reading binge.
they're acting as if everything is enough, but they're very gluttonous behind closed doors. They're gluttonous over the social media. They really do believe that not going to read a book, that's the basis for the source material of the movie that they just went. Normies. One thing I will say, the one thing I like about normies will try to pursue the book if they want to, or they'll ask somebody who has read the book, and that should be more than enough to get them to go and check out the book.
Well, there's something else that I've seen that's a little bit more disturbing. There's people who have read the book and said that Villeneuve rewriting the second part of the movie improved the book and made it better.
Bullshit.
That
Yeah.
rubbed me the wrong way.
Bullshit.
Yeah. I do not know
100%
how
bullcrap.
Villeneuve's going to do Dune Messiah because of the way he rewrote the ending.
We were
The
denied
end-
who will
we
remember
will
us
touch on that.
vibes.
Look,
Yes, that is the
we're not gonna touch
best
it right
line
now, but
ever.
yeah.
History
I'm
will
saying,
remember us as wives. Yeah, it sounded like Wifey Pooh threw a temper tantrum and rode off pregnant with the twins on a sandworm at the end of the movie.
I guess that's his way of showing her that she's the daughter of Leah Kynes, because Leah Kynes did the exact same thing except she died.
Yeah, no, this whole like Chani is an equal to Paul. Okay, here we go. We're going in, guys. We're going in. All right. So in the books, Chani and Paul bond because both their fathers were tortured, humiliated, and murdered by the Harkonnens.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Paul already knew he was going to meet Chani because of his prescience. And he knows that they're going to fall in love, but he doesn't push it. He lets things go naturally. And as time goes on, you have to remember in the book, Chani and Paul are 15 or 16 years old. They're still young. As time goes on, they do fall in love. It gets to the point where Paul's wealth, the charms that show how much water he owns, Chani braids into her hair because that's what the wives do for their husbands. It shows the wealth and also shows that they're guarding the wealth by having these charms in their hair.
Mm-hmm.
Paul and Chani actually have a baby before they have the twins. And this was the first Leto too. And instead, the Sardaukar find out what they do a raid, and they find the siege that they're hiding their little infant in, who's only months old, and they kill the infant. And that lights a fire under their asses that they were already getting ready to go and take out the universe, but they just killed their infant. The Emperor had their child killed. And now it's on. That is not in the movie. Instead, Chani is an atheist who doesn't believe any of this holy man mumbo jumbo. She's an equal warrior. And instead of having a child with Paul, her best friend is killed by the Sardaukar, and that's what lights the fire under her ass.
That's a downgrade, dude.
I mean, not just a downgrade.
I mean, they took a god mode lady and just downgraded her to the fat best friend, except she's not fat.
Yeah, but by changing that from what actually happened in the books, it robs those like who have yet to read like Frank Herbert's epic to really get the visualization of what happens when a mom, husband, and wife loses their kid.
Yeah,
it also represents like one of the parents' worst fears.
Yeah, and you have to remember at this point that it's been, I think the guerrilla war goes on for a couple of years, if I remember correctly.
Correct.
So they're still teenagers, but their son has been murdered mercilessly by Sardaukar. they were already, fighting the Harkonnens. Now it was time to fight the known universe. You killed my child. And Chani is out there fighting. Yes, she is. But here's the thing. They missed this in the book too. Chani is Paul's rock. Whenever he has his visions, whenever he starts panicking, second guessing himself, she is the one that stands by his side and says, "It's okay. I believe in you. We can do this and we're going to win." They took that away in the movie. Why?
It's
Not only that,
very little when she does it. It's very little.
oh, when she's his rock. Yeah, from what I gather, instead she's like lecturing him.
Yeah, which is
Especially when he goes out the train.
which is another like inconsistency from like who Chani actually is.
Yeah, apparently that's part of the whole Herbert really didn't understand women and wrote women weak, because they were like, "Oh, she's just a broodmare." You obviously did not read the book, because when spoiler alerts for anybody who's listening, plug your ears. In Dune Messiah, when she dies giving birth to the second Leto II and his twin sister Ghanima, Paul gives up all hope, abandons his kids, and wanders into the desert to die. His rock is gone. His whole reason for living is gone. Even though he's had twins, he's done. He walks. So telling me that yeah, he cries. You're not supposed to give water to the dead. And he friggin' balls. And at this point, another spoiler alert, his eyeballs have been burned out of his skull by a stone burner bomb.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he can still produce water, he can still produce tears, which was really freaky to the Fremen. He had no eyes and he was still crying.
He was crying Jesus.
Yeah. So changing her character, you've already fucked up Dune Messiah. By having her, I know that she ties the blue cloth around her arm, which I guess in the movie signified that a Fremen woman is pregnant. If she's tied that, that means that she knows she's pregnant and she has put herself in danger by going out into the deep desert because her boyfriend pissed her off. Her boyfriend did not do what she wanted. This is the other thing. They turned, from what you guys can correct me, from what I read, they turned Paul into a vengeance-obsessed brat. All he cared about was vengeance, not his vision. Vengeance. This is the other thing that I heard that really sucks. Instead of getting his own Fedakeen, he becomes a Fedakeen. What?
From what
he's supposed to have his own personal army, which is the Fedakeen.
Yeah, that's what happened in the movie.
He's supposed to invent the Fedakeen. They've already the movie pretty much, in the movie Part 2, they outright just name drops them. Those are supposed to be a new concept, a new type of breed of Fremen warrior, but no, they exist now. So he's not allowed to make his own army out of the Fremen,
which is a missed opportunity because with Villeneuve, he should have. He should have actually visualized.
Charlie literally name drops it. Charlie literally name drops the Fedakeen. I was like, wait, what? Hold on. He's going to make those.
Oh, God. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy who's the leader of the Fedakeens in the book, because he's really close with Paul.
Oh, crap.
Not Stilgar.
No. What's his name? Fuck. They cut his scenes in the Lynch movie, which really sucks. He was the guy that said Usul no longer needs the weirding module.
Mm-hmm.
Can't remember the character's name, but he plays an even bigger role in Messiah.
But the thing is,
he's dying in Messiah, but even though he's dying, he's still able to feed Vladimir? Wait, that's Harkonnen.
Oh, no, sorry, my mistake. No, it was not Vladimir. Oh, shoot.
Negro, you supposed to be the damn information gatherer.
Hey, man.
You fell asleep?
I actually am going to look that up right now.
You just want to have your data disc ready. How you gonna be my mentat? You can't mentat.
I was ready.
Oh.
Well, excuse me, but I've been busy.
I understand that, but you ain't mentatting. You supposed to be a mentat.
Oh shit,
You're
they
making
don't
my
have his name on here. But
you're making
yeah,
my
like
attention look bad.
it was this Italian dude with like a huge beard and stuff that played the guy that was the leader of the Fedaykin.
Well, the thing is, what threw me off was a lot of changes. Like they broken up the frame into two branches, the Southerners and the
Southern,
Northerners.
yeah, they pulled an Avatar, the Last Airbender. You have the
Mm-hmm.
Northern and the Southern tribes.
So the Southerners are the holy crazy people, while
Yeah,
the
the religious
Northerners
fanatics.
are warrior fanatics.
Wait.
I'm gonna call them that.
All right, hold on. I remember. I found him. It was Chad. He was the leader of the Fedaykin.
But you cut out, who was it?
Chad.
Okay, thank you.
A man named Chad.
No, Chad.
I know. I'm just fucking with you.
Well, excuse me. You were going on me because you were going me early because again I was prepared. However, I'm a busy man,
I
a
know. I
college
know.
man,
I
mind
know.
you.
You're fine. You're fine. Don't.
It's
Thank you
for
for looking it
comedy's
up for me
sake.
because I couldn't find it. But I'm glad that you knew who I was talking about. Okay, so I didn't like that they made Stilgar a total religious fanatic.
Oh
He
God, that
believes
was
in the
getting on my
prophecy
nerves.
in the book, but first and foremost, he's an old Fremen warrior that's leading a siege. And that's what comes first. But he does believe in the prophecy. So yeah, he takes Paul and Jessica in. And I guess he's like a hardcore religious fanatic instead.
Yeah, there's a lot of retconning in this movie because a
Yeah,
lot of the characters.
I wouldn't call it retconning, more of rearranging, but these weren't. Well, this isn't the good kind of rearranging.
It sounds like a different movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's not even Dune. It
let me
is
let me tell you the difference between
Diet
part one
Dune.
and part two. Like Stilgar had this mystique and aura about him in the first movie. Now he's just naked, for like a better phrasing. Like figuratively, he's naked in this one and just making a buffoon out of himself while naked. Um, much like a certain actor we know who went out with no clothes. But yeah, like what did y'all do to my boy Stilgar? He is not the same.
See,
He's talking way too much too.
I
Way
love
too much.
I love Stilgar in the books because, like I said, the man was a pillar of wisdom. When everybody who Paul and his family used for wisdom are gone at this moment, Stilgar steps in very well as, and this is I'm gonna segue into something because I want to know what your guys' opinion is on this. He becomes Paul's counselor, just like Tufir Hawat was to his dad. Now, here I'm going to go on a big bitch rage right now. Why did they cut Tufir's scenes? Because that is one of the most epic things he does in the book. He gets captured by the Harkonnens and forced to become their new mentat. So what does he do? He turns Fade Rautha against the Baron and starts seeding dissent into the House of Harkonnen. And he's the one that convinces Fade to try and assassinate the Baron while he's banging one of his slave boys. Luckily for the Baron's a smart dude and always checks his slave boys before he has his way with them. And he finds the poison injector that was put in the slave's leg. And he calls in Fade and it's like, I'm really proud of you for trying to kill me and take my place. And, that means Thufir's doing his job, but you have to be punished. You need to hand strangle all of your concubines and slave girls that are in your brothel, every single one. Because he was showing, hey, I'm proud of you, man. You've got that Harkonnen viciousness in your veins, but you fucked with me. So you need to be punished. So he made Fade Rautha hand strangle every single one of his concubines and slave girls. I heard that Twofer is hardly in the movie at all.
That's what I
No,
heard too.
he's not in the movie at all.
Nope.
Are you serious?
There was no scene of Thufir. I didn't even know this until I watched one nerd cookies videos about her review, Elaine's videos about Dune Part Two, and she mentioned it. I'm like, that's right, Thufir was not in this movie whatsoever. They don't even mention him. They don't even say shit.
Remember-
Paul doesn't even talk about him.
In the book, when the Harkonnens and the Sardaukar and the Karinos are all captured, and they find Thufir, and he's like, I was always loyal to House Atreides, and Paul's like, yeah, I know, and then they give him an honorable death. That's one of the most tear-jerking scenes because Paul knows that Thufir was the one, like he knows he was seeding dissent the whole time, which was causing chaos in House Harkonnen.
So you want to know how the Harkonnens was losing their hold on Arrakis without Thufir?
How?
Just nothing but raids, successful raids, every single time. They're like, it was all on Glassfood to keep spice production going. But apparently, since Paul is in on their team now on the Fremen team, they now know, like, he has the knowledge of how to hurt the Harkonnen. So we get a whole montage after they kiss and having a talk about sea and bombless water and all that stuff, right? You just get like a few montages of them successfully taking out spice harvesters from the Harkonnen, but that's supposedly them on easy mode. No descent, no sabotage, nothing. Nobody on the inside screwing them over, making them unfocused. It's just Paul is on easy mode at this point because now he's getting more there with his prescience. He's trained with the Fremen. He's getting closer to writing his first Sandworm, which, by the way, love that scene.
Oh, the Sandworms look dope in the movie. That's exactly how I envisioned them in the books.
I could have done without Chani telling, whispering lower while he's trying to track the sandworm.
Oh
Like,
my
bitch, shut
god,
the fuck up.
shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Oh,
Great minds
again,
think alike,
like,
fool.
That's why I said back in my mind when she said,
is how in the movie that's not really Chani from the books.
I
Okay,
would
I
have said,
have to ask a question. I have to ask
I
a
would have
question.
accepted that before you answer. Before you ask, I would have accepted that if their chemistry was better. Like if there was more scenes where she doesn't throw the line in, I don't believe you about the whole oceans and swimming and shit. Like if there was like a really traditional romance going on, like Zendaya said in her interviews, which she lied, or she was speaking with two tongues. Anyways, I would have accepted the lower because she's encouraging him instead of just, hey, stupid, lower. Go on, ask your question.
I'm just going to say real quick, the woman can't act. She can't. She plays herself
Yeah, she
in
does.
everything.
But what was your question?
So we know in Lynch's Dune, Lynch did not really understand what Pranu Bindu was, and he didn't think martial arts would look cool, so he changed it and called it the weirding way. That was kind of weird. And the Dune miniseries, they did have Jessica and Paul train the Fremen in Prana Bindu, which that was also called the weirding way. But in Lynch's Dune, instead, they all ended up being like Banshee and using sonic powers.
Yeah.
Did they have Paul and Jessica train them in Prana Bindu to be able to do the weirding way?
Nope.
The fight?
Nope. They didn't even give them the armor that they prophesized in the vision in the part 1. And I was disappointed in that. They wear these bootleg ass looking ass armor and shit. Like where's the damn skin tight armor they're wearing in the vision? What the fuck? I was mad. They even had trying to do the pose that he did in the vision in part 1 when they raided Arakeen.
The weirding way.
I kind of like that name. The weirding way. I don't know why.
I do too.
Me too.
It's
It sounds
fun.
very alien, even though the sci-fi world is our world, but far advanced.
But it
Okay.
doesn't have to be. Just like a fantasy.
Yeah.
I will say I thought it was a great coup on Villeneuve's part, keeping Anna Taylor-Joy's casting a secret until the premiere.
Oh my
That's my
god.
pick for Alia. Oh my god, she's probably gonna have to carry Dune Messiah.
Oh my god. When she made her scene in the vision, and she turned and looked at Paul, I was like, I audibly went, And I leaned over to my wife. That's his sister, by the way, because we were whispering and exchanging conversation while I was watching it, which
Yeah,
was weird because we usually stay quiet during the movie.
I will say that was a brilliant stroke of casting.
You want to
For
hear something
Alia.
dumb though?
What?
Ready to hear something
Wait.
dumb?
I think I know what are you talking about? What happens to the Baron at the end?
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
More on that later, though. More on that later. But here's what was dumb. My question throughout this movie: why in the hell is Chani and Lady Jessica so antagonistic towards each other? Are you trying to tell? No, they're supposed to be in the book. There's supposed to be this mother-in-law, daughter-in-law relationship going on. The traditional marriage courtship, right? In any old school setting, any old school community setting, right? You meet the parents. The parents are there to vet you, to weigh you, and to measure you. Whether you are right, both men and women, mind you, both man and woman, whether they are right for their child. That is the right to passage to where the parent can say, yes, I can now leave my child out of the nest and into his or her own nest. He and she can build her own nest now. I can let them go now and not worry in the future because they have somebody to protect them, to take care of them, to be there for them in their passing, or in vice versa. Why
Well,
in movies nowadays they're pushing this message that women are not supposed to like their mother-in-laws, or worse, men, or when it comes to the men, we still get that traditional, you're not right for my daughter, okay, you did this for me, now you're right for my daughter. But when it comes to the women, they hate their mother-in-laws.
that's
What
really
is going
sad.
on with that?
I love
There's
both my mother-in-laws because it's my husband's mom and then my husband's stepmom. I get along with them so well. I love them both. I could never hate them. I don't
oh
like this
god,
whole.
when Jessica was trying to tell Chai that he has to drink the water, like, no man has survived that, no man has survived that, and then when dude, oh my god, the way how they did Jessica in this movie, I was getting heated, I was getting hot, my body heat could warm that whole theater alone. That's how hot I was, because this broad, oh my god, they made Jessica into this quiet manipulator of blind fate.
Oh, I
Throughout the
did not.
movie.
That she admits it in the first movie when Paul asks her. He's like, did you really think that I would be the Kwisatz Haderach? And she says, why not? Jessica never planned on having the Kwisatz Haderach. She had Paul because she loved Leto.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't do it because she thought she should be the mother of the Kwisatz Haderach, which they totally changed. That's why I said when Rebecca Ferguson opened her mouth about the changes that she wanted to Jessica, I was like, fuck, here we go. Jessica in the books, I remember she is trying to support her son, but she is also scared of him. This is something she has never seen before. Not only that, she knows she has condemned her daughter Alia because she drank the water of life and transmuted it successfully, but she was pregnant and she knew she had turned her daughter into an abomination. The woman lives with so much guilt, and she is not antagonistic towards Chani because, like we said at the end of the book, the line, history will remember us as wives. when Paul takes Aurelian as his wife, he even says, I'm marrying her to get position. I only love you. I will only have kids with you.
He says
And
the quote.
that's why they bonded, because Leto never married Jessica because he always thought he was going to marry somebody else from the great houses, but he was too in love with Jessica to do it. And he even laments before he dies, he should have made her his legitimate wife. And even in Dune Messiah, Paul laments that Chani cannot be his legitimate wife. He hates the fact her title is concubine. But like they said in the history books, they were called the wives. They were even given the last name Atreides.
Yep.
Oh God. He even quotes the line, I will love you for as long as I am, and the bitch goes huff.
Yeah, Chani in the books wouldn't have left his side. Chani was hurt that she couldn't.
No, when he should have said it to her in front of her face, she just huff.
No.
Like a rock rock.
Yeah, she dumped his ass. That's why I said, how are they going to do Dune Messiah? Is she going to live on her own until she's like heavily pregnant and then come back and beg for help? Because it makes in the book Dune Messiah, this is why this ending sucks. Aurelian, who is Bene Gesserit, but also hates Paul because Paul deposed her father, and now she's in a loveless marriage, political marriage, where she can never have a lover. She has to stay looking virginal. She's treated like shit by everyone. She's a very bitter woman, and at the time frame, she is working against Paul because she hates what he's done to her and her family. She is feeding Chani the strongest contraceptive, so Chani can never get pregnant, so Paul is forced to have a child with Aurelian. Chani instead ups the game and starts consuming massive amounts of spice to the point that it's dangerous. That is why she dies from childbirth. Her body is so exhausted from consuming all this spice and then having a rapid pregnancy. Her body gives out and she dies. How the fuck are they going to do that in Dune Messiah if Chani bolted because she's pissed at Paul? Because in the second book, no, she is striving to give him an heir. And also because they do want more kids after their first child was savagely murdered. They're ready to have kids again.
Since you bring up the kids thing, let me get into the why I said I'm glad that they skipped out on the sex scene, because I do not want to see this bitch try to emote sexual moaning faces.
They don't even. They just allude to it in the book. Like all of a sudden she's pregnant, so you know they had sex.
Villeneuve did that too, which it shows them in the afterglow, which was fine by me because they were just sitting there and just talking and shit. I was like, oh thank God you didn't show them getting it on, because I don't want to see this bitch old face. I don't think she can do an old face.
That's not even in the book. I don't remember Chani and Paul like having a post-coital bliss scene where they're huffing and puffing.
Nope.
I mean, I liked what they did. David Lynch did, where he just showed them kissing, and he showed the scene where they're sleeping together and Paul's visions stop and he says that he has to take the water of life. They were both dressed in night clothes. And he just says, I have to go take the water of life. There was no sexy times or anything.
Well, in the post-coitus, what you call it, it was just them debating on whether he should go see the Southerners, because there's been rumors that their cult is right. Let's call it that. Their cult is getting bigger, and he needs to set his mother straight, that stuff. Which is what pissed me off about that change between Chani and Jessica being adversarial, because they make it seem like Chani wants Paul all to herself for whatever reason, but it's basically like she wants him to go on a side quest while Jessica wants him to go on the main quest. No. Come here. You need to get more levels. You need to level up. Keep leveling up. No. That's enough leveling up. You need to go back on stop. And look, they were trying to set her to be anti. They're trying to set Jessica to be anti-grinding, and Chani being for all grinding. So I'm like, what the fuck? Chani. Here's the thing. Chani is a child. you're talking to an adult. I think at this point she is now the by this point she's done the water life. She's become the new Fremen Reverend Mother, which oh my god, that scene. I have a few gripes with that. One being that when they administer the water light to her, she's very reluctant, and the Reverend Mother used the voice on her to force her to drink it.
What?
That
Yeah.
makes no sense.
No, it
No,
doesn't.
she put her child that she was pregnant with at risk, knowing she had to
They
do
made
it.
her reluctant because of Arya. I think if I recall correctly, I think the reason why she was hesitant was because she was not only was she hiding the pregnancy. First and foremost, she was hiding the fact that she was pregnant. But she was hesitant, but she wouldn't say why she was hesitant until the Reverend Mother said, "Drink," and then she drunk it.
Oh, that's some bullshit. That would not no. That's so stupid. Jessica
then-
did it willingly.
And then the Reverend Mother realized she was pregnant. She is with child. What have we done? And then she just fucking dies. As Jessica's going through her transformation. Though I will say this. There was one thing that they did mention what they were going to do with Arya, which is they're going to have her as a fetus. Now, what they did with her as still being a fetus, still being in development, right? They showed her immediately in the beginning of the first act of the movie. Now, the way how they shot it was pretty impressive. Let me describe it if you guys will pop a squat. So, you guys remember the ending? I described it in Discord before, but I'm gonna tell you this right now. You guys remember the ending to 2001: A Space Odyssey?
Yep.
Yeah, the Star Child.
It looked like that, but in deep dark void. Like the way how they lit it up was like how the light shines in the trench underneath the ocean.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like that. And Jesus Christ, that mesmerized me. How they showed it like that. And every single time that they cut back to Arya, they see her developing, especially in the Water of Life scene. You see the Water of Life touch her, like just enter Jessica's womb and engulfs Arya, and her eyes immediately open. I would say this: Denis kind of captured that. Oh, that's unsettling. Kind of feel to it when she as a I'm gonna say best guess 4 months fetus this thing, when she opened her eyes, that made me literally jump on the inside, not on the outside. But that doesn't dissuade the fact that I jumped when she opened her eyes. I'm like, oh shit.
I'm glad they made it unsettling because Alia is supposed to be unsettling. She's born with the mind of an adult. She is already aware.
Okay, Jenny, are you ready for something funny now? Are you ready for something funny?
Okay.
As grandiose as that scene was, the funny came in.
Uh-oh.
Jessica is talking to her baby in the womb out loud, even around other people and her son.
Fuck, I don't remember that in the book.
So every single time everybody's around her, or at least in the conversation between her and Paul, where he goes, "That's not how we win," something like that.
Mm-hmm.
She should have said, "Your sister wants to know why. Your sister says she believes in you. Your sister says this." Or if she's around other people, my daughter wants to know this. My daughter wants to know that. My daughter has this. And then there's shots of her talking to Arya by herself. So every single time you see her talking and speaking for Arya, she sounds like a fucking mad woman. It almost had me cracking up.
So
and this is Rebecca Ferguson with her usual
Jessica.
voice. Yeah. She's like, yes, we must, yes, we must see the. She's like, yes, we must see the belief. Get up. We must make them all faithful to Paul, starting with the weak ones and work our way up. They must believe.
Oh
I'm
my
like, oh my
god.
god.
So
Oh
they
my
literally,
gosh,
they really
she's
did turn it into
single.
a cult, and it wasn't already everybody believes they were like trying to pull a Scientology thing.
Uh-huh.
Wow, basically saying that the Fremen can be weak-minded and control. Jesus, they made Jessica a villain. Oh my god, that is
Yeah.
not female empowerment, Miss
To sum it
Ferguson.
up, yeah, she became. They even show her in a vision walking naked with a cloth over her among
Mhm.
starving and dehydrated Fremen or just any other people just trying to reach out to her as if they're begging for her for water. Just much like this, and they basically put in the same position as Chani in the first movie, where oftentimes Paul dreams of her or visualize Chani, but this time they make it look like this whole desolation, this whole dead world with all these starving. It looked like Dark Souls. It looks straight like Dark Souls.
Did they
God,
basically
someone who
turn
really didn't
Jessica
read
into Golem from The Hobbit?
They look like pygmy, so often forgotten from Dark Souls. And they're gasping for air. They're reaching out towards her. She's walking all this slow mo walk with her silhouette ass out there, just naked with a cloth all over, draped around her and shit. But you can tell that she's naked, just walking among them. And then when the vision started becoming clear, and he realized it's his mother, she turns around and look with that smile, the way how Chani turns around and smile. And I was like, oh, don't do this. Don't turn his mother against him. Because his mother has always been supportive of him. Fuck that noise. It's like,
Well, I
don't make
mean,
her the evil, the evil as in beware with your leadership. There might be somebody who's undermining you. Because that's what they seem to make it seem like. They make it seem like his mother is undermining him in some ways. And that's what caused Chani to be very antagonistic and adversarial towards Jessica. Even when she met, oh my god, this is gonna make you fume, Jenny. When
all
they
right.
make they do show the process of the Water of Life, and they bring Paul to the Southerners finally, and and Jessica has him drink the water. So like
Wait,
Paul's
Jessica has him drink the water. He doesn't do it on his own
yes,
with his
she has him.
Fedakeen and wait. So oh my god. So wait, instead of going out to the desert and taking the water of life and then being in a coma for a month, everybody seems to forget Paul was in a coma for a month after drinking the water of life. They had to hide him in the siege. Jessica makes him drink it. Wow, I'm so glad I haven't seen this movie.
Oh, even worse when Charlie comes in and get throw a bitch fit towards Jessica. He says only you have to complete the task, for you are a part of him. And she's like, no, I cannot do that. I cannot do that. She's like, do it. And Charlie just forces
No!
herself to cry, takes her tear, and puts it on Paul's lips, and that's what springs him back up.
It's true.
What
It did happen.
the fuck?
I was like, no, 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 no. You're going off script, Denny. What the fuck? What the fuck? But
This
what?
is
No. What the
so
fuck? Why would you
evil.
make Jessica do that to Chani?
She would
Why?
never do that to Chani.
That is supposed to
Yes,
be
she
your
would.
daughter-in-law. You forced her to complete a process. What the fuck? And then when she comes to her senses and Paul wakes up and he's happy to see her, she slaps him and walks off.
Chani slaps him?
And walks the fuck off.
Wow, so this is Zendaya's version of Chani. I can tell you right now, I bet you she's the one that told Villeneuve to write Chani this way.
I mean, you can speculate, but
This
we
is
don't know
also
for
where
certain.
we get the scene where she says, I'm not fighting for him. I'm fighting for my people.
Oh my god!
Dude,
That's
that
what-
doesn't even
When she says that
sound-
line, she stopped being Chani. She is Zendaya saying that. because that's not how Chani talks.
Or
For
like
fuck's
put
sake,
it
Chani
another
was
way.
Paul's biggest believer. Ooh.
Or to put it another way, Zendaya's wearing a Chinese skin suit.
Yeah.
No, wait, Zendaya.
And she said, and Jessica gives her a parting word by saying, I hope you you succeed in your battles. Yes, but it seems like you won your battle. I was like, oh no. Wait,
Are
let
we
me look.
sure this is a feminist who wrote this? Because this doesn't even sound like female empowerment. It sounds more like bitch mode.
Well, I mean, a lot of feminists today think that is like what Zendaya and Rebecca Ferguson are. That's how a lot of them want to be. Total bitch mode. They think that's amazing. Chani's telling the white male who thinks that he's a messiah, who's come to her oppressed people and started a religion she doesn't believe in. She's got to put him in his place. Completely missing the fucking point.
No. That sounds like the dumbass on Twitter supermodel that didn't like tomboys. I'm sorry, and that sounded bitchy. My bad. I should not say anything like that.
Humble swearing is not part of your vocabulary. What's going on? A little bit too much of me rubbing off on you?
A little bit, yes.
Damn. First found, now humble. I'm corrupting you guys. You need to step away from me for a month.
So I want to jump back
Hang on.
a little.
Let me reread this quote, because she says, Paul didn't have a choice, Chani. I won't be fighting for him. I'm fighting for my people. I can't wish you the best of luck. I wish you the same, but it seems you won your battle. It's like, bitch, fuck you. How dare you say that to your mother-in-law?
She sounds
the
like
grandmother of your children. Say again?
She sounds like a petulant child.
Throughout the whole movie, yeah.
That's
especially when she had to teach him how to properly walk on the sand. In one scene.
God, he already knew how to do that when they leave the crashed ship. He even tells his mom to walk unevenly so they don't attract a worm, because the crash was definitely going to attract a worm.
But she's telling him he's not moving like the sand. That's what her critique was. You're not moving like the. You gotta move like the sand.
Yeah, no.
Is this like one of those feminist utopia fics that Ishii talked about?
In part 1 of Dudes of Steel? Yeah.
Yes, the quote-unquote empowered woman and the emasculated man.
Well, they were trying to show that while everybody was doubtful of him being the Lisa Aghaib, or discriminating against him as an off-world, she was trying to show support for a while, and that shit just dropped right in the second half of the movie. I was like, what is this? Because I'm willing to here's the thing. I was willing to overlook the fact that she was teaching him how to properly walk on sand, because she was trying to help him succeed as a Fremen, So far, she's seen him bested Jameis, one of their strongest warriors. She's seen how he's willing to fight to protect them in the beginning of the movie, where the Harkonnen was hunting them down, which was another good shot, because the way how they did the flotation devices in that one was really good, because this time they were floating up instead of down. And man, that transition was beautifully done. But I digress, But you got her just completely just being flippant towards everything, even towards Stilgar, who in the first part she would drop everything if he told her to drop everything. She would do exactly what he says. Like, it's the way how they came up is that she is a part of his speech.
She's his niece.
In fact,
family.
But there's a scene where, like I said, how they described the two Southerners, they're Southerners and all that stuff, and Stilgar says, in the Fremen language, "Be quiet, we're praying," and they just give this her and her best friend is giving this snooty look. I was like, no, 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 fuck no.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Javier Bardem because it sounds like he got a bait and switch since
He
he
got the short.
rewrote it.
Yeah, and even then, when Paul is going there to put the to quote unquote put the Fremen in their place, there's a moment where Charlie goes, "This prophecy is how they enslaved my people." And Gurney Hollick, oh god, we gotta get into Gurney later on, but Gurney just snatches her ass out like, "Bitch, shit your ass that." Like, yeah, Gurney, sit that bitch down.
Well, good. At least Bernie stayed in character.
At least, like, Stilgar is like just, he's so fucking brainwashed at this point that he's willing to give his life to give Paul the position of the siege.
I read about that they wanted them to do battle, and instead Paul's like, "No, I'm not going to kill him, but you guys all need to follow me." And they're like, "Okay, cool." Basically, Paul would never allow that in the book.
Let me see.
Because he had Stilgar was one of his closest advisors. Stilgar and Gurney were like his two homies. They rolled together everywhere.
They were the new Duncan and Gurney.
Well, he was the new Duncan.
Yeah,
he was more the new two for Hawat.
But the thing is, this is what he says: "Take my life, Usu. It is the only way. I'm pointing the way."
Oh my god! Why?
Though I will say one scene that really haunted me deeply, which was in line with the theme of the book, which is don't trust charismatic leaders, right? Mm-hmm. The scene was after he did the Water of Life, after he see his sister Arya and Jessica visits him, and he's in the room that they're in is so dimly lit, right? And he's just sitting there near where the sand pit where the baby sandworms are, and he's mm-hmm. like, just his eyes are just sharply fixed straight, looking and searching like he's looking at a fucking map. And he's like, "The visions are clear now. I see possible futures all at once. Our enemies are all around us, and in so many futures they prevail. But I do see a way. There's a narrow way through." He just moves his hand in such a way, like that part had my skin crawl a bit. It's like that's the Dune right there. That's the Dune right there.
Oh yeah, when Paul he loses a bit of himself after he takes the Water of Life, because he truly is a changed person. He is now the Messiah.
Yeah, Villeneuve did that shot really good. That I liked was when he's sitting there by himself and he says that line, in the way how he's looking. Timothy Chalamet, I would give his method acting right there. Well, I wouldn't say method acting per se, but still, like when he did that, I was like, oh my god, that was haunting. The way how he acted a person who's literally seeing possible futures. Like at first he was like he was already like having a nervous breakdown in the first movie. An altar at my father's skull, a holy war in my name. Now he's like, I see it all. That haunted me. He's like, at first I was like pitying him. Now I'm afraid of him.
That was the thing, though. They weren't afraid of him.
I was afraid of him. I was afraid of him as an audience, man. As the audience witnessing this, I was afraid of him at that point. But my fear just flipped around. Now I will give this one scene where he's speaking in the Fremen language. He's just all in on it, just giving him this grandiose speech in Fremen. That I liked. Though what came before it was really just great because it was slowing the pacing down. It's like, Chani, sit your ass down, watch a leader lead your people. Fuck you. You ain't the leader.
God, I'm so glad. I would have been screaming and foaming at the mouth in the theater.
They did do Jameis's funeral, but it was brief.
Did Paul marry Jameis's widow and adopt his the two sons?
Nope, no sons, nope. No widow.
Are you kidding me? Because Hera is his legal Fremen wife, but she defers to Chani. And And like there's nothing going on between Hera, and that Stilgar and Hera are falling in love with each other to the point that Paul lets Hera go, like, I release you from all obligations, and Stilgar, who has no children, adopts the twins. That's a huge part of the book. Hera was his legal Fremen wife. But
right.
there was no romance between them. Instead, she kind of puttered around the house like his mom or like an aunt. But even the two kiddos end up being warriors. And yes, so I mean, Hera, Jameis's wife, played a huge role in the first book, and she plays a huge role in the third book.
Though we do get a scene with him and Jameis again, though in a vision, and that's what spurred him to go to the Southerners to do the Water of Life.
Yeah, I didn't in the first movie. I didn't like that whole like Jameis was my best friend in an alternate reality. It's like, no, that's kind of stupid.
Now he goes to him again for guidance, and the guidance is go and lead my people with this holy war and all this shit. Now, one thing I will say,
they turned him into Jiminy Cricket.
Pretty much. But let me get into Faye Rotha real quick. And this right here was a huge love from me. They built up his entrance so well in this movie. They have already showed him immediately, but him entering the gladiatorial arena was hype. And
nice.
The way how they introduced him was they were painting these markings on him. And goddamn, sorry about Pacelli, Austin Butler's voice for Faye was vicious, like a dagger just scraping against a surface. Where do you think I should stab a man? The good places. Pick your favorite girls. I'm paraphrasing. That's not what he really said, but I'm just giving you a bit of a preview of how he sounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the lungs, liver, or the heart, or maybe the throat. He's basically what Austin was doing was trying to give Faye this whole love for Vladimir to the point where he's imitating Vladimir's voice in a way.
That's actually cool.
Even to the point where he almost sounds like the Baron if he was younger. Of course, they give him the white black blade knives. And he takes the white blade and caresses it across it like vertically down his tongue. Oh my god, that made me tickle a bit.
And why are the gladiators? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
And then he slices one of the slave girls, stabs a slave girl in Zach. He slices the girl in the neck, slices another girl in the exact same organ that he named, slices another girl in the exact same organ he named, and the groupies in the background are getting off on him murdering these slave girls.
That's Fade Routha for you. That sounds very spot on.
And later on in the movie, they kind of imply that his groupies are cannibals.
Oh shit!
They don't show them eating the guy that he stabs, the one Harkonnen that he stabs, but he says, "Take them. The girls are hungry. His meat, he'll provide the meat." So it's kind of implied that his groupies are kind of cannibals. They're like dogs.
That would make sense for that planet because it has low photosynthesis. They can't grow anything on the planet. It's all imported. Mm-hmm. So of course they would be cannibals.
Giddy Prime has a black sun in this movie. A lot of people like the fact that it has a black sun to the point where the whole world looks black and white, and in the daytime.
Oh, that's what I was about to ask. Why was the Fade Route with the fighting scenes in black and white?
Yeah, because the sun was black. That's the reason why it has a black sun. But what's crazy was when he steps out, the music that they play for it is hype music. It's like fucking release a soundtrack already, like you did the first movie already, so I can play that soundtrack again, man. Because again, like I said earlier in the stream, they kind of dialed it back down. But when they blared it up, oh my god, it was good. It was good, especially when they did the Atreides slaves that he kills. They kind of make a bit of alteration, a minor alteration. Instead of just him fighting one drug slave, he's fighting two drugged Atreides slaves, and one is undrugged, and he picks up on that immediately when he looks at them approaching him. Like you see them all hobbling about in a blaze state, and then he notices the one. Basically, he's an important Atreides, so he's one of the lieutenants or generals, I think. And he's motioning to him like all clear and cut. So what he does is he immediately kills the druggies first, and he goes straight to the one guy. He already has a shield on, right? But when he notices that the Atreides is holding his own with the shield on, Fade turns off his shield, takes it off, shows it to the crowd, and chucks it to the side. Like, yeah, let's go. I ain't got no shield. Fight me like your life depend on it. And you got these little court jester looking motherfuckers surrounding them and shit, like it's Gladiator and all that, like the Tigris fight. Y'all remember that one, Tigris? I think his name was Tigris. Yeah, that fight. And like when he locks Blaze with Homeboy, one of them uses one of these hook sticks to hook on his back, and Fade was seething. He's like, ah! Ah! He just screams at the dude to back off, like back off, and he backs off, and then they fight each other again, and dude's holding his own, and then Fade just stabs him right there. He's like, you fought well, Atreides. Then he walks off with the blade, white blade, and raises his arm. I was like, oh my goodness.
So at least they showed how psychotic he is.
I have a few criticisms with this scene, though. Thufir Hawat is not in this scene when he should be. Lady Fenry is in the scene, but she steals a quote from one of the male characters. Do you want to know what it is?
Sure.
Plans within plans.
Oh my god. She stole the Navigator's line.
Well, no, she stole Baron Harkonnen's line.
But remember, the Navigators say it too. I see plans within plans.
Right. But the thing is, yeah, I wasn't knowing for the Baron to say it, but like the thing is, she stole his line. I was like, no. That's his. That's one of his lines, and somebody else's line. Why is she saying that? She says. I think she says this to. I think who visits her in that scene. I think it was Irulan. I think Irulan goes to visit her in Gedi Prime, or somebody else. Yeah, I forgot who was there, but that's where she utters the plan within plans and shit. When they notice that one of the Atreides is not drugged.
Gotcha.
And this is done on Fade's birthday, by the way. So when Fade notices that the Atreides is not drugged, he looks up to Vladimir and he says, "Happy birthday, nephew."
Oh, that is such a Baron thing to do. I like that. Okay, I do like that.
There's a scene where he goes to meet Baron, who's having a spa bath. But before we continue on that, you remember those two slave girls that were attending to him healing?
Well, I didn't see the movie, so no.
The part one, the bald slave girls.
Oh yeah.
He kills those two. He snaps their necks behind closed doors.
Spade Rouse
No,
it is, or the Baron?
No, Baron.
Oh damn.
And you get a good shot of his backside.
Ew, I don't want to see the Baron's tubby butt.
While it's showing that Glassy was having a hard time trying to keep Arrakis under control. So I was wondering why he would kill those slave girls, but then I realized he heard the bad news about his condition.
Gotcha.
and you when he goes into like you hear him screaming like no, you hear and all that shit, and like you see Rabon just flinches when he hears him die, and he enters. Then Baron's like Rabon, and he goes right in, and you just see them. You see the shot of two girls are laid out in black black above black goo on the wall and shit and on the floors, and then you see Rabon turn his head. And you see Baron just lowering himself into the goo again and having his spice piping on and all that shit. I was like, yep, you get to see his ass. His full body, full Monty. At least you don't see the front of him, thank God. But that was a shock.
Speaking of the Baron, there is a scene that really pisses me off. Spoiler alert, Paul kills the Baron and not Alia, and that is really stupid because more spoiler alert. Alia, because she killed her this is big spoiler alert, so I don't know if you guys know, Baron Harkonnen is, oh yeah, you guys have read the book, is the grandfather of Paul and Alia. He is the father of Jessica. So
they kind of briefly touch upon that when he does the Water of Life in the movie.
So Alia, because she's connected to her other memory, well, she killed her grandfather, so her grandfather's ultimate revenge is to pop up in her other memory and possess her and take her over. So having Paul kill the Baron fucks Alia's story up because she becomes a true abomination because she's possessed by her grandfather. And she starts doing stuff like her grandfather. She becomes very hedonistic and gluttonous, and like she becomes a horrible human being because she's really the Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah. Oh my.
Yeah. Essentially, only it's a reenactment of Karma being possessed by the Shadow King from the X-Men. I mean, sorry, New Mutants, but yeah.
No, I knew what you meant.
Yeah, I was worried about that when Paul runs up to him and stabs him as Muad'Dib. You know, I was like, wait, what? He kills Baron, not Arya? What the fuck?
Yeah, Alia killed them.
When I heard
it was
about
great.
That, I was well shocked, but also I was dumb. And let me scratch my head on why. Why you just robbed a major character moment.
Refresh my memory real quick. Did Fenry see a child with Faye in the book again?
Yes, in the books, she does seduce Feyd-Rautha, and she gets pregnant, and then she leaves. Feyd doesn't know that, you know, he's got a daughter. They were trying to preserve the bloodlines at this point because they thought the Atreides were all dead, so they had to ensure they could at least have a Harkonnen heir. And her and Hasmir raise the child as their own. It's a daughter, I believe.
Yeah, that happens in the movie. The way how they did the fireworks in Giddy Prime is also interesting. You know those chemical testings?
Yeah.
When you run electricity through chemical.
Oh, cool. So it looks like that?
No. I'll give you a better description. You ever seen Arrival? With Rachel McAdams and Jeremy Renner?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, use the chemical testing for better representation. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Kind of like a way how they look splotchy, and they wiggle, kind of like that. I like that touch for fireworks, and they keep going because it's Faye's birthday, so he's walking through the tunnel, and that's where you get colored by the end because the sun is set. When the sun is down, even though it's gray, there's still some color, you know. So he's walking through this dark tunnel, and he's followed by Fenry, and he gets the drop on her by putting a knife to her neck, and she uses the voice to make him follow her to her chambers, and then she pulls out the box,
Oh, so she tests him as well.
A lot of people didn't like that.
I don't. I think. Wait, didn't they think that he might have been the Kwisatz Haderach in the
I
book
don't
at
know.
one point?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't
I
think
know.
that. Well, the thing is, when they what they said, what she described after she gives him the chop gets in bed with him after the whole box test. She explains to guys Mohayim and Irulan because they're both together on some planet. I can't tell you what it was. Maybe it was Korean's planet. I would assume. Um, that Feyroth is a beast. He's wild. Yada yada yada. You know, did you test him with the boss? Yes. He seems to enjoy pain. I was like,
Damn.
but he should die then. He should be.
Well,
Well, I guess
did
if he didn't take his hand out the box, I guess that's a win.
did they put the suggestion in his head that, you know, if they say a certain word, all his entire body goes limp and he falls over? It makes it easy to kill him.
I don't know. I think they kind of hinted at it. They imply it. They were saying a lot of things, but I think she did say that everything's under control. You know, he's wild, but he can be controlled. So I don't think they allude to the fact that they have a security measure per se. They don't really spell it out. I mean, but they do say that he can be controlled. So I guess it's implied that she put a safety measure
They
in case
had
he.
that in the '84 Dune movie after Paul kills Feyd-Rautha and he yells the word at him. It causes the floor to break and his armor to break apart and his eyes to turn white.
Yeah.
That's
Wait.
actually one of
Are
my
you
favorite scenes.
wait? Are you asking? Did they have that?
No, well, I was just saying they used the word in the movie, but Paul said he knew that he could use the word at any time to kill Feyd-Rautha when they have their final battle, the
Okay.
knife fight. But he does it, and I remember in that I think he does it in the book, or maybe this was just Lynch being Lynch. He yelled. That's when he at the '84 movie he yells the word at him that causes the floor to shatter because he does it with such force. And I always love that scene because then you watch Sting's eyes slowly turn white. It's like he totally
Yeah.
erased his soul.
Yeah. So, Irulan, they kind of downplay her in the movie. She's supposed to be the sort of detective in the story.
She's supposed to be. She's the entire series narrator. That's why I didn't like that. Chani was the narrator in the first movie.
I
Everybody
would
forgets.
I'm willing to overlook that because at that point he probably didn't have the casting yet. Which is why they didn't have Fade with Glassu with the Baron
Gotcha.
because they didn't have the casting yet. So I'm willing to overlook that. What I will not forgive is Chani's choice of words during that narration. Who will be our next oppressors?
I know that we have to worry about the ecology of our planet. Ugh.
Fucking A.
Hey.
There's
Now,
another. Oh, go ahead.
now my biggest gripe of this movie: the casting choice of Shadon Carino IV.
Oh, you didn't like Christopher Walken?
I didn't like it when they first announced it.
Oh, he doesn't do a good job.
I made the right choice. My senses were correct when they first announced that he was going to be Shadon Carino IV. I was like, no, hell no. It should have been Bill Nye. It should have been Bill
Yes,
Nye.
I agree with
Christopher
that.
Walken is missing the menace that Carino has as a regal puppet of the guild. Even if he's the puppet of the guild, there is some menace to him. Something that when you see him, you dare not raise your voice at him. You dare not try to undermine him. You dare not try to assassinate him. Number one, he's got Mohayim as his truth sayer. Number two, he's got his Sawyer card. But no, here's Christopher Walken sitting on his chair in Arakeen, trying to sound menacing, trying to sound intimidating, but I'm laughing my ass off because it's Christopher Walken being Christopher Walken. Even in the quiet parts where he's just sitting there chilling, you know, while Irulan's giving him his daily medicine, he's just looking all bored, like he had.
They have him taking medicine in the movie.
No. She gave him teeth. I'm just like, nah, that's medicine.
Gotcha.
I'm joking. I'm just saying, like even though it's tea that she's giving him, it's just, where he's living at look like it's a retirement home.
Wait, so it's not the Regal Grand Palace? It
looks it, but the way how they shot it, the way how it's lit, it just looks like every other conventional retire. I'm saying it's old as Christopher Walken in a beautiful place, and as I'm seeing him at his old age, it looks like a nursing home rather than a palace. It's like this is where he goes to retreat.
Oh my god!
No, I'm saying like it's supposed to convey where he lives, his wealth, and all that stuff. To me, as I'm looking at it, like nah, this is retirement home. You cannot convince me that this is supposed to be the Emperor Shaddam, the fourth of the Iron Lion, of the Golden Lion throne. Fuck that. Should have been Bill Nye. Bill Nye can grimace. His facial tics can convey, you know, anguish, frustration, irritation. He can nod his head in annoyance. He can convey a very array of emotions with movements, even if he don't say anything. Christopher Walken is sleepy in this damn movie. Sleepy.
That sucks.
That's how I describe his performance throughout this whole movie. Sleepy until it's time for him to sit down and throw an act. Which he did, but I still cracked up. But speaking of going back to Harkonnen, so you know what they had to have him do now that his healing didn't finish properly? They got him on life support.
They've got the Baron on life support.
Yep. Floaty Star Wars little orb thing that's pumping whatever things in his body. It's like every time he's around, you're it's got floating this little flow or feeding whatever shit in him to keep him healthy and all that shit. So he's on life he's floating on life support.
Wow. Okay, see, that's really stupid because even though he was obese and disease riddled, he still did not look weak. And now it sounds like he looks weak because he's got a little life support orb pumping him through full of God knows what to keep him alive. That's stupid. He's a menacing character. That's why Alia killing him was so brilliant because he totally was like, oh, this little girl's not going to kill me. She fucking destroyed him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he oh god, I can't remember what she does. She gets him with the Kriz knife, and then I think it was just in Lynch's Dune. They had him eaten by a sandworm at the end, which was great.
So they even bring up this plan of using warheads. Apparently, his father's father had stashed warheads on Arrakis. When did this happen?
His grandfather stashed nukes on Arrakis.
Yes.
That's fucking dumb.
And at the back of my mind, I asked, since they triggered my mood pet peeve, number 4, since when moments.
Dude, atomics were hardly used at that point because of the huge war they had against the thinking machines. It was unseemly to have atomics.
Well, the thing is, when Gurney brought that up, this is what. Okay, leading up to this real fast. Let me tell you what I also liked: the reunion between Gurney and Paul. Fantastic, because he was already doing the smuggling thing. He's already trying to smuggle spice off of Arrakis, but then apparently the Fremen has floating magnet mines.
What?
Yeah. They surprise attacked them with floating magnet mines that blew up the harvester tank treads. And
yeah, no.
Then the Fremen are doing their rise up from the ground thing, but Gurney takes off his helmet. He's ready to throw down and shit. He walking up like he did in the Fall of Our King.
Mhm.
And Paul surprise attacks him like this, bursts up from the ground, trips him, puts his blade to his neck. He said, "I hear your footsteps, old man." And he's like, "Paul," and Paul takes off his mask, and they just join each other and hug, and he tells the Fremen to lay off on the smugglers. So now the smugglers are on their team now. You know, I like that scene where they reunite. That was actually heartwarming. I almost cried. Like literally, I almost cried. I was like, oh, I feel tears rolling through my eyes seeing them together again because I was hoping for this moment. I was like anticipating that moment. When that happened, oh man, I almost cried, y'all. It's like, yep,
Well, I'm
okay.
glad they got one scene right.
That was a win. That was a win for this movie. One win. Among a few of them. But that was one genuine win, mind you. Though, I did not like that Gurney was struggling to put up a tent, and they're all laughing at him. Though Chani goes up to him to help him fix his tent up, which, okay. I was like, okay, all right. I will accept that. I will accept Chani going to help him out. You know? But still, like, a lot of the big, strong leader, mentor figures got the shaft in this movie.
Well, it sounds like all the male mentor kick-ass characters were made to look weak and stupid, and the females kicked ass in this movie.
Exactly.
It makes them look like jerks, though.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Besides being, I guess, having really bad mouth, I just can't help but think there's like a disconnect. Like magnetic mines, how are they supposed to work in a sandy place that doesn't have anything to magnetize?
No, they magnetized to the tracks, to the tank treads. This was like the second raid attack on a harvester. The first raid attack was on a Harkonnen harvester, and oh my god, I almost bitched at Chani in this scene. The one where he says where she has the bazooka and shit.
She has a bazooka?
They showed it in the trailer, girl. You didn't catch that?
I tried not to watch the trailer. It would make me mad.
So they were trying to use a bazooka to take out one of the ornithopters that was like lighting them up and everything. And Paul used himself as a decoy to distract the ornithopter so that she can get a clear shot. So when the missile hit the ornithopter, it will slow down and penetrate the shield. So there was that scene, and apparently that one scene, that one fight, made the Fremen like him immediately.
That's confusing.
Oh, he also gets to pick his name in the beginning of this movie too, not in part one.
Well,
So
I heard that he doesn't get called Usul as much because Villeneuve said that he thought it was kind of stupid that Paul had two names. It's like, did you not understand that it was the name Muad'Dib is what he showed to everybody else, but to his close Siege tribe, he was Usul.
They say it a lot. They say it a lot in this movie. They say it just about enough. So you can count on hand how many times they say it, but they say it a lot. Even Stilgar says Usul. Everybody says Usul in this movie. You'll hear that word repeated multiple times. Yes, they say Muad'Dib more. I will say this: they say Muad'Dib more so than Usul, but Usul do get used. It's not no once or twice thing. It's multiple times. Hell, even Stilgar, like I said in that dumb quote that he said, Usul, take my life, it is the way. I am pointing the way.
My God.
It kind of says that Stilgar's the only person that says Usul among the Fremen. Sometimes he'll say Muad'Dib. The Muad'Dib is so humble, he doesn't believe himself to be Lisa Al-Gaib, which means he is the Lisa Al-Gaib.
Wow, what a character assassination of Stilgar.
Yeah, and then there was too many reluctant moments for Paul. The first reluctance was being taking his mantle as Lisa Al-Gaib. The second reluctance was using the nukes on our king. and he has a vision of them using the nukes, and you see Chani burning up from the nukes and everything,
Oh
which
my
was a
god.
horrifying scene. Seeing Zendaya with nuclear burn marks on her and everything, that was weird.
Why would Chani even be near where they blasted the nukes in
Well,
the
that's
first
funny
place?
because what's funny was it's at a distance. He's standing and bearing witness, but she's laying at his feet, reaching out to him, and he reaches out to her and cradles her. That's it's kind of like a repeat of that end of the world scene dream sequence in Watchmen.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Kind of like that. It's mirroring that a bit, but it's like I said, it's weird that they will show that scene, and I was like, no. First of all, that scene will not happen because number two, there ain't no nukes on Arrakis. That's a made up shit.
Well, no, they do get atomics. That's how they're able to get to the shield wall. But it's not a butt ton of atomics. I think they use like one atomic.
They used 3 in this one. I think they used. I saw at least like 3 missiles flying when they go to raid Arakin when the Emperor is there now and everybody's all in place. And like I said, I didn't like the fact that they did not give the Fremen the God, I can't say their name right now, the Fredekin, the armor that they showed in the Holy War scene in Dune Part 1. Because I would love to see them in that armor, in that whole vision sequence, the prescience.
Yeah.
They don't have that. They
That's
do not have
stupid.
that armor.
Because that
They
armor
look
actually did look good.
really like. Why do they not have that armor? And why do they have this armor that's barely hanging on their asses? They got hockey pads on instead of regal looking armor that's form fitting and allows them to have crazy movement.
It,
I
it
was disappointed.
sounds it sounds like Villeneuve, like it's like he had his visions and he forgot everything that he put in the first Dune movie
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of, pardon me, flew by the seat of his pants.
He pantsed his own outline?
Oh,
This
okay.
long half humble.
I'm gonna actually. I have to go soon. I should have been in bed an hour and a half ago, but we're talking Dune. I
Mm-hmm.
do have one more thing that I want to bring up that I heard.
Go on.
So at the end of the movie, Paul makes the Emperor kiss his ring, and then the Landsrod is the Great House like, no, we don't accept you. So he sends the Fremen, the fanatical Fremen, to fly ships they've never flown before to go up and kill all the great houses that are overhead Arrakis.
That happens. He
That's
says
fucking stupid.
send them to lead them to paradise. Though I do like
Yeah.
I do kind of like the duel between Paula and Fade.
Oh,
Though
that was good.
yeah, it was really good. Even down to when he said, "Oh my God, this is why the line doesn't really hold water, but it's such a bad line from Fade. You know, that's your lover right there. Maybe I should spend time with her once I'm done with you." But it doesn't hold water because Chani is not all in. Yes, she shows concern and she shows fear for Paul, even when Paul gets stabbed twice, mind you. But
What?
huh?
He gets stabbed twice?
Yep. And he lives it. He lives through it.
You know what that's from? That's part of Kevin J. Anderson's mythos.
Mm.
Because I don't remember Paul getting stabbed in the duel, do you?
Nope.
Yeah. No, but I do remember Kevin Anderson, when he was writing all the books that are in between, the reason they're able to make other clones and stuff of Paul secretly or some shit is the knife fight with Fade, which I was like, I don't remember him ever getting stabbed.
Even with
Wow.
Sting's hidden blade, his stinger blade in the movie, he didn't even get hit with that shit. Yeah, he got
I
stabbed twice. He got stabbed once in the gut. I thought he faked it at first, but he had the blade in him. But I don't know how he was able to get the blade in Faye when they were fighting the knife. Because when Faye tried to stab him, he catches the blade and he turns it, but then suddenly you see Paul jerk one minute, and he got the blade inside of Faye, and Faye says, "You fought well, Atreus," and he falls down dead. I was like, okay, how the hell you stabbed him? Because I thought you fake that you got. I thought you got stabbed in your side, and you just took that knife right there, and just bait him in to stab him with that knife. But no, he's got both knives in him.
he stabs him through the head, through the bottom of his jaw in the book.
Yeah, every single time they keep adapting it, they have him stab him in the abdomen, which is weird. I would love to see him drive that blade down his head.
That shit was great in the '84 movie when he rolled over him and you hear that crunch and it just pans out and like there's Sting laying there with a knife through his head.
Mm-hmm.
That shit was nuts.
You hear him scream.
Yeah,
Ah! It was so quick.
You see everybody horrified when Paul does that. Like Aurelian looks like, she's gonna puke. You see the Emperor like cringe, like, oh shit, that was too much. It was great.
They even do the exact same thing where the Emperor gives Faye his knife, but why Faye should have his own knife?
Did
of course, we all know.
Did they at least have Gurney be like, no, I need to kill this guy. He's an animal.
Yep. He does. You do get a scene of him fighting Glasssuit, but he makes quick work of Glasssuit.
Oh, he does? Good.
Yeah, like Glasssuit takes out his whip. He tries to attack him with the whip again. Gurney snatches out of his hand. They fight each other, trading blade for blade. And Glasssuit do not get one hit on Gurney at all. And he stabs him deep in his throat. Nice. Earlier in the movie, freaking Glasssuit lands his whole battalion team to attack one of the sieges, and they fucked their shit up too. Now, here's one thing I will say is a negative in this movie. They have a liberal use of laser guns in this movie when they shouldn't be.
Are you serious?
Far too liberal. Far too liberal. They use them like sniper rifles. They use them like rifles and assault weapons and shit. Like, you got some that fight with knives, but you see fucking lasers just just seeing all that shit a lot. I was like, there should be. I was whispering to my, there should be no reason why they should be using these guns this much at all. Granted, nobody wasn't using any shields because sandworms, but still, there should not have be this many laser guns you could use. In fact, the Fremen should not be having this many laser guns on their person anyways.
They used Chris knives.
Only Chris knives. Like, how the fuck they have these many laser guns? They even snipe fucking Harkonnens from afar on top of a mountain to force them onto a mountain after using a thumper. They do show them taking water from their body, which is fucking creepy as hell.
Oh, they stick the things on them that sucks it out?
Even a live one. Chani fixes one on a live one, and he's trying to reach to get out of him, and she moves his hand out the way.
Oh shit!
Then they piled up the bodies and let a worm gobble them up, which is a nice touch too. Any more questions? Would you like no more? Because I'm about to wrap it up soon, and you gotta go to bed.
Yeah. No, it just honestly, it sounds like Villeneuve put so much into the first movie, and even though I had problems with the first movie, I didn't have as many problems. This sounds lazy as hell. The second movie, lazy. It's horrible fan fiction. It's like for a guy who said that he loved Dune and wanted to be the one to bring it to life, he failed. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, if you haven't read the book, it looks awesome, but
I'll play devil's advocate on that statement, though. I
you'll
will
put a
play
what?
devil's advocate. So I
Okay.
will play devil's advocate on his statement, though. Unlike JJ, Villeneuve is forthcoming on what he set out to do. You may not like it, but at least he's honest. I will
Okay.
give him that. He if there's changes that he makes, if he says he's going to push forth the Bane Jesuit, regardless of whether we like it or not, and we don't like it, at least he did not lie. He told the truth. He said he's going to push the Bane Jesuit. You see it on the screen. He said there's going to be multiple changes. It's on the screen. He says this is not going to happen. What I don't agree with him on is the idea of a director's cut. I don't agree with him on that one. It's a shame that he refuses to make director's cut for both these movies, which unfortunately it's not going to happen. Even the whole support. One thing I will say that I think he did lie on is Gurney playing his little Lear thing. That shit was short
Oh,
as
the
fuck.
Bowset? He didn't
Yeah,
play that?
he played
Aw.
it, but it was short. He said it was supposed to
Oh.
be longer. He made it clear that it was longer. No, that shit was short. Plus, he made Gurney sing like Johnny Cash.
Okay, so instead of playing like a troubadour or singing like a troubadour, oh, okay. I guess we need a lonesome cowboy.
I didn't
All
like it
right.
though. He was making up words and shit.
Well, I always liked that about Gurney in the book. He would shit talk through music.
I
So
guess
he's one of my favorite
I'll
characters.
let that go. But yeah, for me, like I said, I will not be buying the physical copy for this movie because it's not true to the book. Mostly because once again we were denied History Will Call Us Wives. Like I will say this for my part on my end, all that dumb shit that he did would have been completely forgiven if he had given us History will remember us as wives. But even then, he didn't even give us that because all Jessica did was sit down and look pretty, and then look at God's Mahayam and says, it says you didn't think this was gonna be it, right? And Mahayam in turn says, do you really think that this was all there is, Reverend Mother?
God. So it ended with the two of them. Oh, that was the last lines, was those two instead?
Well, that was the last line between those two.
Ugh.
And yeah, that's basically what. Yeah, you know what? That's basically the replacement for History Will Call Us Wives. Was her looking at Mahayam like yeah, bitch, look at me now. I'm in your position, bitch. Look at me. And then
Well, that
Mahayam said, bitch, you really think this is all there is to it being a Reverend Mother? You should know that by now. Now that you're a Reverend Mother, you should have foreseen it. Fuck you. But we
wow,
still get the silence.
when Moyhim comes off as the voice of reason over Jessica, you fucked up.
Mm-hmm. And they kind of a lot of characters that's supposed to be a key player to everything in mechanizations, they got downplayed. Like I said, Fenry, she's a filler character. Irulan, she barely does shit. Only the fact that she just Look, you know how Kirill found out that Trace is alive. Snail
How?
mail. Snail mail. No
Wow.
Irulan telling him Paul Trace is alive. Well, she does kind of say it. She asked what Paul Trace is alive, and he just brushes it off until Snail Mail shows up, and then he start acting concerned. Up until that point, they only heard legends about Muad'Dib, but they didn't know it was Paul Trace at that time. But now that they get the message, oh, now it's Paul Trace. No, Irulan didn't even say it. She just handed it to him. He reads it. He throws it down. and she picks it up, and then she says, "Paul Atreides is alive. Paul Atreides is Muad'Dib." I was like, "Oh, so you're not gonna allow Irulan to discover that Paul Atreides and Lady Jessica survived? Well, fuck you." Even
like-
though Mahayam,
another missed opportunity.
even though Mahayam, they had this one scene with her and Mahayam, and she questions the Reverend Mother. I forgot what was said between those two, but it seems like Irulan was like this meek little girl that was that was basically doing what she was told to do and all that shit. That should have me fiery mad because I like Irulan.
Oh, she's such a good kid. She really comes into her own in Children of Dune because she feels so guilty for causing Chani's death, and then Paul being so depressed that he goes into the desert to die. She raises Leto II and Ghanima, and they actually love her. She's a good stepmother. She
Mhm.
renounces everything and becomes totally loyal to the Atreides.
Atreides.
Which, once again, like because due to the changes that Denis had done for Part 2 of Dune, now I have a strong feeling that people will be hesitant to watching the next movie because there's no telling what other changes is going to happen.
Now, Jenny, before you go ahead and tuck in the Wii Power Ranger, give us your final thoughts on what you read and what I described to you so far before you head out.
Everything that I read is spot on for what you described to me. Like, that's what I read. It was pretty upsetting, but to have you confirming it just like made it even worse. Like, what the fuck was he thinking? What were you thinking? There was nothing to change. You didn't have to change anything and it would have been great. But instead he changed it, and it's it's just like Walt said before. Everybody's tired of the bait and switch, and I'm sure that there were plenty of fans of the book who walked into Dune Part 2 and walked out angry and disappointed. If it had been any other storyline, okay, great, yeah, but you don't mess with the last half of the greatest science fiction story ever written to fit your modern day vision. You just don't.
All would have been forgiven. He had given us history will remember his wives. If you would stay on
Yeah.
script at the end, at least, I would have been okay with that. That would have been my say. Look, y'all can say whatever y'all want, and y'all are allowed to say that. Y'all have permission. You are free people to speak your fucking mind. Okay, and I'm not going to debate you on that. You are what I've said this to many people who talked about adaptations of books. Okay, and I listen. I never dispute. I never told them you're dumb for not liking this movie. You know, I don't tell nobody they're dumb for liking Jurassic Park 2 or Jurassic Park 1 or Jurassic Park 3 or Jurassic World. You know, I don't even hate on people who don't like the Marvel movies for not being faithful to the comic books somewhat. You feel me?
Oh yeah.
I understand too.
But at the end of the day, if whatever it is that they deliver that's spot on from the book, I'm okay with it at that point. Because at least, you know, circumstances that lead up to that point be damned, but at least it ended the way it's supposed to. Dune 2 didn't do that. And I'm worried for the future. I'm debating on whether I'm going to see Messiah or Children.
Well,
I really am debating.
Villeneuve said he was only going to do Messiah. He's not going to do Children. And I'm like, so you're leaving a hot mess for other people to clean up. Good job.
See, that's where I say, Denis, you're making it hard for me to play devil's advocate half the time. You really do. Especially with Ross went on that rant about him speaking. I heard that rant through Nerdy Cookies, by the way. And I was like, what? Dude, don't say that. Don't you ever say that. What the hell? What's wrong with you, Denis? I like all your movies. Hell, I'm not ashamed to liking Blade Runner 2049. I'm not ashamed. Okay, though part of that is my spite towards Ridley Scott. I will admit that part of it is because of my spite towards Ridley Scott and his multiple versions of fucking Blade Runner, which I can't see. That's the problem. Mini rant real quick. That's the problem I hate with Ridley. Like we can hate on George Lucas about the whole special editions bullshit, but really is the worst offender compared to George. I cannot find a way to enjoy Blade Runner because people are telling me which versions I should be watching, which is best. And I'm like, no, I ain't don't go through that shit. At least, here's the thing. I'm going to say this right now. At least with Blade Runner 2049, there ain't no multiple versions for that bullshit. Yes, he may have picked the wrong ending to make this movie, but you know what? Fuck it. And fuck Ridley. I'm still salty about Alien Covenant. I will never... Any movie he makes, even this, he's the reason why I don't want to watch Napoleon. Fuck that noise. Because of what he did with Alien Covenant.
Oh, have you seen what he's done to Hannibal? It's a sequel to Gladiator.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Hannibal. And it's going to be Denzel Washington as Hannibal.
What?
Yeah.
Denzel's going to be a cannibal?
Yeah, they're making a Hannibal movie. I guess it's a sequel to Gladiator.
How?
I don't know. Ridley Scott has lost the plot. He used to be one of my favorite directors, and now I'm like not. Yeah, we didn't see Napoleon either because I'm really hardcore about historical accuracy. I mean,
he don't give a shit about historical accuracy. See what he did with Columbus.
Steve took me to see Pearl Harbor, and I thought I was going into a World War II movie, and when I found out it was a fucking romance, I was like, nope, this movie's shit, and it was so historically accurate. I did not see the one about Christopher Columbus. I did not see it.
I don't want to see it. Back to Villeneuve, though. Like I said, I seen Arrival. Love that movie. Was very interested in that. What was another movie he did before he got Dune?
I thought the movie he did before Dune was Blade Runner.
Yeah, Blade Runner. Like I said, I like that one. Didn't mind that one. Arrival is really good. He's being the next Ridley Scott, but Ridley Scott went before he lost his fucking way. I will say that. I put him on that pedestal a bit.
When Neil Blomkamp came out and showed a coherent Alien story, and he was given Alien 5, and he was going to retcon Alien 3 and Alien
You need to watch my video rant about that shit. I went ham.
Well, I was just going to say, Ridley Scott threw a temper tantrum and did Alien Covenant and took it away from Neil Blomkamp.
Man. Watch the video yelling about Alien Covenant. Oh, I went in on that shit because that was the look. Like right after I saw like at first I was like, okay, so Ridley's gonna do his shit and then we're gonna get Blomkamp's shit afterwards. Nope. Okay, let me see Alien Covenant because if he can do this really good, I can forgive him for that. When I saw Alien Covenant, I let the theater. Fuck Ridley Scott. Fuck you for cock blocking Blomkamp. Fuck you. I ain't giving me no more fucking money. Fuck you.
Yeah,
you cock block him for this bullshit. I was my fury. Ooh, my goodness. I could have destroyed the planet with my fury of that shit.
Film.
Fuck. He made the Covenant crew stupider than the Prometheus crew. I go into detail on that one.
That's watch an achievement?
I'm telling you, Jenny, watch that video. I explain in great detail of how stupider the Covenant crew was than the Prometheus crew. Oh my goodness!
That's bad.
If you ready to have a laugh, I'll link it to you on Instagram. I'll link it to you on
Okay.
Instagram. If you want to laugh, man.
All
Don
right, go.
remembers.
Send it to me.
Leia remembers. I don't think Humble, was you there when I did that rant?
I might not remember it, but I know it was
the Dark Knight.
enthusiastic.
It was when we did the Dark Knight trilogy.
Oh, yeah, that one was a very enthusiastic and long rant.
Oh God.
Whoa, that'll be an understatement, Humble, because we all witnessed his rage.
Mm-hmm.
We could have had a great Alien 5. Fucking kills me.
Yeah, I wouldn't have given a shit about Ripley with a fucking bomb strapped across her stomach, or wearing an alien suit for some weird fucking reason.
What?
Because that was one of the concept arts.
That's right,
Look it
sneaking
up.
in with the xenomorph suit on.
That was a concept art.
That's the equivalent of trying to have a Harry Potter wizard go through Walmart shopping for Muggle
Look
stuff.
it up. The concept art for Alien 5, Neil Blomkamp, it is there. And oh man.
Well, it sucks too because Sigourney Weaver and Michael Biehn had come out and said they were signed to the film and ready to go.
Now she don't
And then
want to
Ridley
do it.
Scott pulled that shit. Yeah, they were in pre-production.
And she don't want to do it now. We don't need that bitch anyways. Just get Michael Biehn.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
You don't need that bitch. Michael Biehn and Newt. Unfortunately, you don't get the original actress because she's a teacher now.
Yeah, I found out she's like an elementary school teacher. She did Aliens, and then she was like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised. I bet you that movie was a little traumatizing to film. Plus, having James Cameron as your director, that guy's notorious for being a horrible human being on set.
I bet.
He had to kiss the ass of Kate Winslet to get her to be in the second Avatar film because after Titanic, she said she would never work with him again.
She was in Avatar 2?
Yeah, she plays the water tribe's chief's wife.
Interesting. Now I'm kind of tempted to watch that movie, even though I swore to never watch any of James Cameron's bullshit either, because fuck him too.
Did you ever read his interview where he said he's the savior of our oceans? And he has to keep doing his mission to save our oceans because we're destroying them?
They need to, you know what? Both him, Ridley, who else? Who else is old and dumb now? Him, Ridley, let's focus on them real quick. They need to go to a retirement home. Put them in a retirement home. Fuck them. Send their ass to a convalescent home. Yeah, you don't need to be around society. Fuck you. Go and be happy. Rewatch your fucking movies and all that shit at a nursing home. Or since y'all rich, y'all can have your own private home and turn that to your convalescent home. Fuck you. I'm done. Now I'd like to thank everybody for being here. Those 16 Jesus Christ, 16. It almost came to 20 guys for our audience viewership. 16 of you, and those non-existent motherfuckers that keep popping in and out. Thank you, Jenny, the Mead Valkyrie, for sharing us your fury in talking about this movie.
No problem. It was fun.
The beer is good, so yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Humble, the Humbles of Writers, for interjecting when you needed to, and I guess the Humbles of Writers, Humble Marty.
I'm sorry I haven't been as humble as I should. And this movie, just by hearing about it, just confuses the heck out of me.
Yeah, we saw a different side of Humble tonight.
Yes. The snarky, not so alert Humble.
Oh God! Please don't tell me you're gonna stab us in our sleep. Warn us before you do that.
No, I couldn't even do that if I wanted to. That's dumb.
I love that. It's dumb.
We need to have you on sometimes, just to react to Humble, Jenny. But the Hound of the South, Dominic Powell.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us in tonight's live stream. Hope Hope you enjoyed our discussion as well as a rant on Denise's questionable creative choices when it comes to adapting a rather timeless sci-fi classic from Frank Herbert. If you like what you see here, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to Wolf News channel. This is the Hound of South Dominic Powell signing off, and remember to keep up the good fight in keeping hope, idealism, and optimism alive in the world. Because remember, cynicism and nihilism are for losers. You got to keep your head up.
We have our pioneer and hater of the Dune franchise, the Olivia Wilde plus size.
Good evening, everyone. This is Leia Plus Size, your lovely lady of valor. And no, I do, despite Wolf's stretch of the introduction, I am not a hater of Dune. Herbert and this science fiction story is not for me. This world and these characters is not for me.
But real quick, what did you think about us talking about it?
I enjoyed hearing how you guys felt about the film and how honest you were. It's not enough to make me. It's not, well, I guess I'm being too nice. It is not enough to make me see the film or go back and read any of the books. Right. It won't motivate me to see the movie or go back and read the books. As I was saying, these characters in this world, this is not my kind of story. The look
means you're not Luke Skywalker, Jenny.
Right. I'm absolutely
ironic
right.
As that sounds.
It's not. You're right. You're dead right. I will absolutely agree with you 100%. Paul Atreides is not me. Luke Skywalker is me. And I know many people have said that they can see how Luke is brought from this. I don't have a problem with that. I don't think it's wrong to be influenced by a novel or a book in stories or filmmaking. Many filmmakers have done that throughout history. But I think that for Lucas and why the classic Star Wars were me is because it is the hero's journey. And this is not the hero's journey. And it's hopeful and hope. This is more cynical. So therefore, yeah. So therefore, this genre, you have to forgive me for not being that enthused, but it's just not my type of story or world. So even though you all were very enthusiastic, and I appreciate the passion that you have, these Lucas and Tolkien are about hope and good versus bad. These characters are more gray, and I don't like gray. So but I appreciate you all being honest. That's the best I can say. And if there's any other film you'd like to see us discuss or rant about that you think has not been covered yet, please leave it in the comments below. And if you have any comments about what was said tonight, maybe you see the movie differently. Maybe there's some things that they left out that you would like to put in. Please leave it in the comments below. I'm sure Wolf will appreciate that. But until then, we'll see you all next time.
This has been your Wolf Commander Wolf 10. Also letting you guys know that we were denied the guild navigators in this movie.
Ouch.
Not one. Not one.
The night deeper, didn't you?
Not one guild navigator in sight. They don't even bring up the guild navigators at all. Despite the fact that they brought up the Spacing Guild in the first movie. I don't even need a full face of the motherfuckers. I just need a fucking fish hand touching the damn tank. Like in Shape of Water. Just give me that. Keep them alien and mysterious at least. But nope. No Mentats either. So you can see what I mean. But when Villeneuve said he was pushing the bean just with more, I was like, yeah, we saw that. To the point where you completely forgot every other faction. Fuck you. I probably ain't gonna watch the Messiah. Fuck that. But remind you guys once again, you are the UN Spacey. Welcome to the Wolf Fleet. Have a good night, everybody. And Spice
Night.
Have a good one.
Oh, and long live the war. Sorry, long live the fighters.